0.27 right now for the S&P 500, about 0.75%. For the NASDAQ, it was all about tech yesterday. Here we go again.
I just love the Elon headline. Reuters, Tesla canceling Model 2. Elon, we're accelerating production of Model 2. I mean, what do you make of that? Great move yesterday. Obviously not a good report as earnings and margins and profit all continue to decline at Tesla, but we'll see what the day brings forth today. As you mentioned, Boeing, lame duck president, something Calhoun, this morning talked about their trouble still increasing the production of the 737 MAX, which is their best-selling airplane. So we'll keep eyes on both these names. Lots to talk about today, Brenda.
Randy's being distracting off camera here, trying to grab the bell. But we'll maybe get Randy's opinion on this Elon report that came out. I was just seeing as well, we got durable goods data there, 2.6% last month versus 2.5% expected. Also, Canadian retail sales just coming through. Looks like that was basically in line with expectations. But all right, so yeah, that's 11% here for Tesla. I mean, Sean, I think you had a good point. We touched on this going back a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about this on the weekend. Maybe the Model 2 ends up just being the robo-taxi and not necessarily an actual consumer vehicle.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Thanks, Brendan. And yeah, check out the podcast. We talk about these things. Pretty cool stuff. And yesterday, you know, we talked about this. It opened up yesterday at 142. The audience, our desk, everybody was mixed on what was going to happen. And that's why it's always a risk to take a position immediately before earnings. And we always talk about maybe positioning up in front of it. Tesla's up 12%, 11% right now. The quarter was pretty horrendous. I mean, but the talk of the new model coming through, perhaps quicker than they had thought. You know, this robo-taxi thing could be something. I mean, planning 1 million plus of these out on the road. I mean, if they could get produced pretty cheaply, margins down to 17%, that's not great. EV space not healthy, selling less cars, making less money. I think it's up way too much.
There wasn't.
My trade on here is to go short.
There wasn't like an actual positive. If you look just,
I know. I was just looking at the numbers.
If you look at the numbers and the metrics, like none of those were actually
45 versus
positive.
51, revenue 21 versus 22.
There was a big line in there.
Tons of downgrades.
The big line in there was when they said the Model 2, they want to be using existing production lines to pull that off,
right.
Which I think would be a big boon for them if they. But it's still, and actually Randy had some good points about this when we were talking at the coffee machine. Is it's still going to cost to retool the plants, even if you have to use the same one. It's hundreds of millions of dollars for that, and it's still going to take some time here. So you still have time that you got to work through.
That's the thing.
A couple of years for this to all work out, and then like, okay, fine, great, robo-taxi concept, but like, when is it actually going to happen? What I love about this is I think it's enough to separate the wheat from the chaff, or whatever. It's just to separate the good from the bad in the EV space, which I think they already had, but this puts pressure, like even more pressure on their competition, even if it's not the absolute sign of the bottom for Tesla in particular.
Thank you, Randy.
I'm not convinced.
I see today you're wearing your Volkswagen shirt.
It feels like it means something.
Wow. Possible Tesla-Volkswagen partnership?
No.
Okay. Why do we always zoom in so much every time Randy's on? It's like his shirt zoomed in, his face zoomed in. Oh, man. Great. That was good, Randy. All right, thanks for the coffee. Did you see that Tesla number? Up 11% right here?
Oh, yeah.
They missed everywhere, but we got robo-taxi. You think robo-taxis are a thing or what?
Yes and no.
Good answer, yeah.
For the time being, smaller percent of the market, but
yeah,
it's regulatory
That's what we were saying, by the time
stuff.
2025.
Yeah, it's down the road. No, the Model 2 is the news of the day. They need to get a Model 2 in production. Where they're going to do it? Neil and I had this discussion. What time last night?
Oh, it was. Well, I don't know. It was right before I read my daughter's story. So
stories are more important. It needs to be done. And like I said, where they're going to do it, I don't know. They need production capacity. Mexico needs to happen. Big capex to get Mexico off the ground.
You got to spend money to make money.
You got to spend money to make money.
And they have money.
But the Model 2 to compete with BYD and the likes of all the other Chinese makers is absolutely essential for cheap labor, and they got to get it done. I mean, the whole FSD and robotaxi thing is a distraction, I think. It's going to be part of the platform no matter what you build. From a Cybertruck to a Model 2 to a, I don't know if it's a motorcycle or a scooter. At some point,
Tell
it's
that,
just
I like the
software.
tell that to
motorcycle.
Kathy Wood, though,
Well,
that it's a distraction. I mean,
I
I'm
think
just
it's
playing devil's advocate there.
I know,
because-
but it's just a piece of the pie. It's not the whole pie. I think they need to get her done. Ooh.
Yeah, she was. Maybe you can answer that off camera there because she doesn't want to talk to you about that Tesla call there.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's. We'll have Randy back here. Well, maybe we'll do a car little
you could date
fluff
for it.
piece at some point. Yeah, because as a day trade today for Tesla, for me, sticky note, spoiler alert. We're coming into levels that I think will probably be faded at some point. And I think it'll be a bump early and then a quick little bump back into reality for Tesla, I think. These highs up here of 164, 165, I think we'll take them off the open because there's going to be a lot of excited traders that are in here. But the move is kind of in line. It's only 8%. The move was 9.7%, so expected move based on options. And you're at 11 now. By the time we open up, I mean, we could be back down to in that range. We could be up a little bit as well. So I feel like this earnings move, unexpected to the upside, I feel like. But thankfully, it wasn't 11% to the downside because, then you'd be in that 130 camp and being like, what is even happening right now? The quarter was bad, but saved by, earlier adoption, hopefully, of people believing in electrification. Tesla's a buy if you believe in electrification and AI, right? And then that AI is going to change the way we are currently using our motorized vehicles. Right?
To me, there's no question about it.
They're the only ones.
It's a matter of time, man. Like, I don't know how to, in the longer term, I'm not guessing. When it was breaking 180 or 190, I was like, oh, I have a stink bid at 150, and then I don't know what I'm doing after that. And I still feel like I'm waiting in the long term. But it was weird because for the levels, and I will get to this, but it's in the middle of it's a weird no man's land for me. Where if it either breaks 160 right away, and then the only places I'd want to buy it is down. I had 154, looks like a level in there to me, and that sets up pretty decently. 158's a little bit tight, and then to the upside, I'm like, well, where would you short this? And until it's actually the 170 to 180 seems like the area. So I think this could be a real wait and see. But there's just one other thing. On my quote board this morning. And everyone, my quote board is just the stocks that I happen to track. This is not, the entire market, but it's all. I'm going to sort it by red, so the ones at the bottom are going to be up. You can see Tesla strong and all this stuff, but if you go in, what was down today? Netflix is down, Mars is down. Uber was one of the names that's down. So Uber actually got. Everything is up right now. Uber is down because of this robo-taxi thing. And I don't wonder if Tesla starts pulling it back in here, and this is too much exuberance, Uber might be a decent relief rally. If the market keeps strength, I kind of like Uber if it can break out.
Down?
It's not much, but it's the fact that everything else is up.
But what is it down 1%? I don't even
It
know.
was 1%, now it's 0.5%.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, back to the desk.
Yeah, I never thought about Uber.
First portion of the show brought to you by Alfonso AI. Adaptive AI predicts the best times to buy and sell stocks, helping you increase your odds of generating alpha. Join now, get 50% off the Pro monthly subscription using code TRADER50. Scan the QR code and download the app today. Let's touch on some Chinese EV action here as well, because there's a few other names that are benefiting from this move in Tesla. NIO looks to be the best at this point, 3.4%, not necessarily the best, but the highest or the most well off at this point. But XPeng to the upside this morning as well, Li Auto too.
Yeah, well, Li Auto, another good day here for Li Auto. No, seriously though, guys, we'll keep an eye on this. Brandy and I was telling Neil and I actually in the back with respect to the lithium production that's being done there in China. They have a lot more lithium than us, so it looks like there's that concerted effort to kind of ramp up their battery production. That could put pressure on Tesla, especially if they start producing more cars for cheaper. We've seen some of these new automakers there point out that they're going to be producing the entry-level cars, kind of similar to the Model 2. So we'll keep an eye out for that.
I just realized the quote I was looking at for Li Auto was clearly after the close last night because, yeah, Li Auto's down this morning, but was, as you can see, nicely higher along with Tesla yesterday. But, I mean, the entire group benefiting from this. There's Rivian, FSR, not so much.
Well, but it does,
FSR's back?
like not so much. First of all, like Li Auto, like
that
come on,
today?
can't catch a break. That's not to. No, it's OTC.
Hey,
that wouldn't be today. That would be
last-
aftermarket.
I think in the last week, FSR's up like 100%. It's like the best EV stock of all time.
Well, it was before this. But explain to me how if every single metric was bad for Tesla, and then the reason why it got the bump has to do with the fact that they're going to go through with the Model 2 and then the robotaxi thing. Like, how is like why is it a sympathy play for Rivian then? Why is it a sympathy play for Lucid? Li Auto, by the way, still flat bottom broke to 26. It's consolidating under here. I just feel like if there is a ramp up here, it keeps trying to break and fill this gap, and I think you had a reversal candle in this thing. Like look at at the open, it tried to make this break above 25 quarter, reversed it back in, and just sort of slid. I think I think this is a short. Now that I'm looking at it, I mean, I actually wasn't even looking at this one today. Yeah, this is a short into 25 and a half, and then you have the $26 level where it was the flat break on the daily chart. Maybe you don't even get there. But it's confusing to me, at least a little bit, why the sympathy play makes any sense. Like if they had stronger margins than expected, or maybe just a little bit better, like the slow in growth was just a little bit better than anticipated, or something like that. Fundamentally, I could see giving the other EV names strength, but them just increasing competition by saying we're going to go with that lower end model, which to me is more competition for the Chinese EVs. I don't see whether they'd be sympathy up on that. I think that's actually, just they got to take aim at Tesla now. I think it was great news for the Neos of the world if they weren't doing the Model 2, but that's not the case apparently. So I think you're shorting pops on Li Auto at least that one for sure.
Yeah, so the thing about all of this is like Rivian is still a dumpster fire, right? Like we've already talked about that, how bad their quarter was, missing everywhere for Tesla. And now we're supposed to believe that like more expensive EVs are supposed to be the thing. I think it was a bad quarter for the EV business, but a good quarter. I don't even think it was that great for Tesla, but it's good to get the vision. And when you get that from someone like Elon Musk, that's completely different than seeing bump up in other names because of this. Like I'd like to see, before we get more excited about buying a Rivian or something like that, let's see some of these names put up quarters like General Motors did, where they're guiding forward and they're beating numbers, right? Like these are the cheaper names on a PE basis, everything, cash. Like Ford, I mean, we're gonna, 13 and change. This name, again, another one that let's just see, we're trying to break out to the upside. So instead of trying to look at some of these names that are simply all EV, all in on EV, and now you're gonna have to deal with Tesla probably bringing down prices, Tesla also cutting their workforce, trying to get more lean, creating this cheaper model. Maybe Ford is onto something with just focusing on the F-150 and then looking at hybrid instead of going all in on the EV space like some of these other names. So I feel like right now the automotive industry, especially on the electric side, is not really investable until we get someone with a big quarter. And Tesla didn't have a big quarter. They had a bad quarter.
Better than the last quarter is good enough for me. Like I don't think, because when the market's forward looking, I don't think you have to have it doesn't have to be good, it just has to be better. Just
guides. Like let's see some guides.
Yeah,
forward,
let's
right?
see a sign of the bottom. The sign 100%. Of the bottom that we're looking for here.
When you're looking at earnings, guys, like Neil just said, stocks don't get rewarded for the quarter they just had. That's Intel. That's forward, is what we're looking for. They're looking for forward guides. So let's see what happens. That's why I like GM. GM had a very, very positive quarter. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk and see what the boys are up to.
That time frame. Moderna here, guys, just popping up to the upside here. We haven't talked about this one for a while. Teaming up with, OpenAI to collaborate on advancing mRNA medicine. There's not a lot of volume behind this yet, but pretty good day, past couple of days anyways, here for Moderna.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot about this. Really interesting here, this look at using AI in biotech to kind of reduce that initial stage where it takes a long time to figure out what's working and what's not, and jump into the clinical trial stage and get the turnaround for the drug a lot quicker. So I think this is basically the manifestation of that, and we'll have to see how this partnership ends up turning out.
It's still, I guess, kind of chopping around here if you zoom out enough on the daily chart, well off the highs still, but coming into recent resistance here for Moderna.
Yes, but if you have the 50 and the 200 period moving averages on that daily chart, it looks a little bit more promising, especially when you consider, well, whether you're into this whole like golden cross stuff. I think it matters more to me that you've had a consolidation with higher lows, you get a massive volume bottom, which is usually a turnaround sign. Then when you broke out at 80, another volume spike breakout, higher lows all the way through. Now you're holding the $100 level and the 50 and 200 period moving averages simultaneously. Yeah. Look, if it takes out, I think 120 is the big one. Like 120 goes, and this has some room to run. Today, you're probably looking at like a 115. Candidly, this is a shot play in my long-term account. That I wasn't, if I had been patient on it, I would have been in after it bounced that last time off 100, but I bought 100 early, so whatever. You should be more patient than that. But I don't know if I want to chase this move just on a little bit of AI stuff. Like we still hear some stuff coming through. Collaboration is great, but you are going into overhead resistance. So let's see it hold maybe 110 or something before I consider trading it. I don't want to throw things in that come out of nowhere. Like this is a EV, Boeing, chips. Oh my goodness, what the heck's going on with ARM? Kind of day today, and I want to make sure we're sticking to that. Overall, I just saw Moderna go up. The NASDAQ's actually pulling it back here. The NASDAQ and the ES are both pulling it back into the downside. Like the ES is almost flat after being up a couple, it was like a third of a percentage point or something, and we're almost back to flat on the ES. But Moderna, good story. Let's see it settle down at the open before looking for a trade. I don't like buying into overhead resistance that Brendan just showed.
All right, so yeah, I mean, I like that Moderna. I like that 115 break. I think that's going to be great, and there is news about OpenAI right now, so that's good. I mean, technology leads the way, and I think that's what leads me always over to something like an Eli Lilly. I mean, you're getting a nice drop in for this name, like into the 730, 740 area with earnings coming on the 30th, just a week away now. This would be a name that I would prefer to buy on weakness than a Moderna, but again, kind of different companies here, as Eli Lilly is one of top 10 market caps now. And they have the GLP-1, and as that becomes more scientific and they sort of dig into that, maybe they do get a pill form. There's other drugs as well that they're working on in the pipeline. I really like Eli Lilly, XLV, IBB. We talk about the Biotech ETF as well, something that's investable at these levels. I mean, you've just gotten hit in a lot of these names because if rates, the problem with a lot of these names are rates. And that is that it's expensive to sit and develop drugs. And when you're sitting in cash and you're burning it millions of dollars a day before you finally figure it out, it's going to get more expensive. So as time goes on, the IBB should be able to get back in there. I don't know what Moderna's weighting is in this, but again, a very aggressive ETF to be in because there is a lot of M&A activity in the space. So you can sometimes get big bump ups because there's activity. So watch out for IBB. I think that's a safer play in the space, and I like Eli Lilly as well, but I really think Moderna is going to break that 115 and go for a jog on good news. So, all right, back to the desk, over to Adara. You choose, Fabian.
One more, and then we'll get some upgrades and downgrades here. Enphase down 5.5% here this morning. Huge move downside. Did bounce off 100, trying to get back higher right now, but miss here for the solar name. Still too expensive.
Yeah, Yeah, a miss everywhere, Brando. Top and bottom line was a miss. The earnings, the guidance earnings were not good either. They did swing a net loss, actually $16.1 million they lost. Compare that to last year on the quarter when they made about $150 million. But I was talking to Reliable Rudy in the chat. He's invested in this name, and I still am of the opinion that this is an interest rate story, just as Sean prefaced with biotech. The startup costs are prohibitive here, and as rates come down and you're using someone else's money, you won't eat into your margins as much. I'm looking for solar stocks to pop on a rate cut.
Both of these pretty thinly traded right now. I mean, Enphase trying to get going, but Moderna, guys, just popped up through 113 as well.
I mean, Moderna is still making that strength. Like I said, I want to see it sell off or settle down, not sell off. I don't want it to sell off, but let's see it settle down a little bit into the open. Enphase, just very quickly, that bounced pretty much exactly off the $100 level in the aftermarket. And I think that bears watching here today. It'll be short sell restricted before it gets there. So any kind of a reverse, if it gets down to 100, it'll be SSR. If it manages to hold that level, there's like a short sell restricted bounce play. But that's at 100 and it's a gimmick trade. Outside of that, I'm probably staying away from Enphase. If it tries to go green on the session, sometimes that can give you a little bit of a juice to short it. But you know, I like the gimmick trade of the SSR bounce because like I know it when I see it. If it gets down to 100, tries to break and fails to break, come back through, look for the long off the 100 level. The stop will be at the local low. Sometimes it's like a 99.70 or 99.50, something along those lines, and then play back into VWAP. I like that setup, and if I don't see it, I'm not trading Enphase.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked about sort of that with the rate issue already. I think SolarEdge SEDG was a name that got dropped out of the S&P 500 when Uber was added. That name continues to be lower as well. I mean, again, just to bring it back to something that if you didn't want to take a shot in one individual name, there is the TAN ETF. And we do go over this often when we're looking at indexes and ETFs. And this has fallen below this $40 level, but potentially finding a base here. If Enphase can find itself back up to the upside, they're the leader. First Solar is the leader. This name looks different than the others. I haven't checked this in a minute, which is why I'm kind of waiting. Yeah, so, one near highs, trying to break. The other ones are all near the bottom. I would say stick with the winners if you like it. I wouldn't, if you're chasing bottoms, fine, Enphase might give it to you. But if you like the space, just stay with something that's winning right now. Stay with First Solar would be my recommendation. Now are we going over to Adara? Let's go.
Quite a few earnings names to talk about on the board this morning. First off, of course, Tesla here with this upgrade from BofA Securities, keeping the price target of 220. Lots of different analyst notes in both directions for TSLA today. Airbnb here getting an upgrade from Mizuho, trading up almost 2%. C getting an upgrade from Loop Capital, and MSCI after a pretty rough earnings reaction yesterday, getting a couple analyst notes, including an upgrade and a price target decrease from Deutsche Bank. Downgrade starting off here with Enphase, as just discussed here. Guggenheim downgrading this one with a price target of $92. Molson Coors getting a downgrade here from Citigroup. Citigroup also downgrading Liberty Media, and Cemex ending the list today with this downgrade from BofA Securities, guys.
I haven't looked at Airbnb in I want to say a while, but good looking weekly chart. I'm going to pull up my weekly chart on trade ideas here. But stair step up. You actually are bouncing off of, you make the next breakout. There's your previous resistance here on the weekly was at 154. Lo and behold, after you break that out, you're bouncing 154 on a little bit of a pullback. It's not a very big pullback on the weekly, but it's about a month worth of data there. So yeah, that usually is pretty bullish. I guess it needs to break out this top. A little bit in no man's land today, so it probably needs to take out a 166. Here to really get going, like take out this level and then head back into the highs. On the daily chart, you can also see it's holding the 50-period moving average. So this is a possible breakout at 166. As I said, sometimes you got to prioritize your picks, but I haven't seen that chart in a while, and I do like what I see on the weekly for Airbnb. Not something I own, but when you look at a trend like that, we always talk about the market, generally speaking, is going up. Don't try to time the market. When you find names that you like, you're comfortable with, whatever they might be for your own particular reasons, and you're looking to build a position, overall, Like if you look at the chop as something's grinding higher, like you can throw a line of best fit in that bad boy, but at the end of the day, you're probably doing just as good buying it every quarter, every single month when you look at this chart, except for unless you're trying to pick the bottoms. And when you're trading, it's great to look at support and resistance. That gives you breakout levels, like if it breaks out 166, or today, maybe you look at that 160 close price. 161 yesterday, 160 a couple of days before. You look for that as a support level. But in the long term, when you have a gentle uptrend like that, it doesn't really matter as long as you're holding it.
Yeah, that's the thing. We talk about trying to hold on to some names and try to buy some names at some value. You mentioned something earlier with Uber, since we're going to talk a little bit about travel with Airbnb. I think this name is actually going to be in trouble. So this is the thing. Shout out to Henry and everybody in the chat. When we were talking about Tesla there, that's why I was saying that it was a bad quarter, but it doesn't matter because Tesla has the vision, and that's what matters. They've bumped up their production of the robo-taxi. They're talking about it. And whenever somebody points a gun directly at you, and they have multiple bullets to fire and aren't afraid to do that, I think that is, and shout out to Nelson and some people that have mentioned this to me, I think this is a bad sign for Uber. I know Uber will probably go in, swoop up some of these taxis and implement them. And I know AI, I think, is going to be a good thing for Uber. But in the near term, this is a name that I've changed my opinion on. I'm not going to be buying dips in this name unless we can get into something. I mean, where is the 200 period on this? I mean, we're probably a lot closer than I even think on this. But okay, perfect. I was going to say into 50, 60, where we were drawing. So I think Uber has a ways to go down. I'd be interested to hear about their quarter coming up. I don't know if we're going to short it today. Let's see the action on that. But here's I got to change this because I have too many things up here and it's bogging me down a bit. Right here, May 8th. So, okay, so still a while before these guys come through. That's Uber, but I don't know. I'm changing my tune on that one a little bit. I don't know what you guys think up there, but maybe Sharif, you think Uber's a little bit in trouble here with some of this Tesla talk?
It's an interesting question because they just turned profitable and now all of a sudden their business model is being challenged. You bring up a great question, Sean. Unless they really adopt this from their side and buy like a fleet en masse, it'll be interesting to see how they do this. What do you think?
They need to get, or figure out, at least in this city, how to get drivers to you faster than taxis can get to you.
Yes.
Because I've had another experience last week where I ended up canceling and I still had to pay $5 just to cancel because it was taking way too long. So anyway, just to recap here, this morning at 8:30 we had some economic data that was, I mean, in the right direction for the overall market, but I was just noticing yields starting to pop here as well, back to the highs on the day, the dollar back to the highs as well, 1.3% for durable goods month over month versus 2.5%. That's about it for today. We do get oil inventories as normal. It's Wednesday, 10:30. Tomorrow, though, midterm or advanced GDP reading for the quarter coming out at 8:30. But then Friday is the big one, obviously, PCE. Inflation related, going to be 8:30 on Friday morning. All right, let's get going here. We'll have a look at the overall market to kick things off at 9 o'clock.
5106, guys. That's where we closed off yesterday on the ES June contract. We're above 5100 right now, about 5110. Let's see if we can use that 100-point level as a level of support. If we can, look for 5150 as that critical resistance level.
Real quick reminder, if you haven't done so yet, go to the website, tradertv.live. That will pop up. You enter your email address, and then you get the watch list for free every single day. We do your homework for you, and then you come check us out at 8:30, and we'll tell you, or the guys will tell you, what to do with these ideas. Tesla, 11%. Was 11%. It's still 11%. To the upside here, I mean, there's a lot to digest. Obviously, I think the big takeaway is around this more affordable wording from Elon, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I mean, right now, electric vehicles are expensive, especially with 8% lease or finance rates, right? So that has to change fundamentally if the current interest rate environment is going to stay the same. So let's talk about how they did. Net income dropped 55% year over year on the quarter. Revenue dropped as well, missing $23.33 billion last year. At this time, they earned about $25 billion. The new developments, as Brendo said, looking for that Model 2, or whatever it's going to be called, the start production in early 2025. And he also said, if not later this year, we'll see if he's able to do that. He's also buying the Nvidia H100 chip hand over fist. He was projected to buy about 35,000 of them, and now he's talking about 85,000. That can't be a bad look for Nvidia.
The language also, he actually came out and said to a reporter to think of Tesla as a robotics and AI company, not a car company. So they're starting to get everyone thinking in that direction as well.
Yeah, the long-term super bull case has always been that's what it is. And if you look at the valuation of Tesla, like always the valuation has been reflective of that for those that are bulls, and then anybody that doesn't like them will say, no, they make vehicles, you've got to be realistic. And we've essentially been with Tesla in a range or in a trend for the last little while here, over a year, that the latter has been what the market has been caring about. And that's what happens when you get demand destruction. Now, obviously, it didn't really bounce off that 150 trend line. I had a stink bit in there, and now I'm just waiting because 150 was that support, and it hit it. I'm not convinced in the short term that this is then out of the water. I think you have to do this small too. It's incredibly important to have something more affordable. I think everybody more or less agrees with that. They got punished when they thought it was canceled. It's back, and all of a sudden the stock's up on a bad quarter. So I think the proof's in the pudding there. At the end of the day, it's trading in I don't like the range that it's trading in. It gapped up to this 160 area where I'd feel way better about shorting it on the 170 area. I'd feel way better long at the 154. Like what are we talking? That's 3.5% away in one direction, and that's 5% away in the other direction for me on Tesla. So if you're taking like an initial trade, you're probably looking at maybe a breakdown and then try to fill in some of the gap into 54. But I don't want that one. I don't want bamboozlement, because the last time it did a gap like this, I remember it ripping faces off when we thought there'd be a dip. So I'm looking for a patient dip into 54, an offer into probably into 170 if it has any chance of getting there. But I do not mind. We talked about Li Auto. You want to go up in Li Auto, I'll take a shot there. I like the 26 anyways. I don't think the sympathy play really makes a ton of sense, but I don't need that to like what we saw already in this name, which was breaking a support level, now consolidating under it, which gives me a resistance spot, the 25.5 and 26 even. Look at Rivian. There we go. Hey, you look at Rivian here in the last couple of days. It did make that 9 break. Thankfully, I had a short yesterday in Rivian. 4 of them actually. The last one ended up getting me green because it did finally pull back in, but it held $9. So if we do start to come back in, like Rivian breaking 9, that's right back in a pocket in a range that is normal, and you don't have to overextend yourself trading in a bit of a vacuum in Tesla. I think the EVs are going to 100% be in play today and the rest of this week. But you don't have to go around chasing Tesla to get a good move. I think Li Auto and Rivian can give it to you as well.
All right, I'm just getting the sticky note out because everyone's bugging me on chat. Okay, so look, I've already said my piece on this. I think this is a short today. You're gonna have to wait for 164. I'm gonna show it to you on the sticky note when I get it in a couple minutes. I'll put it out there. But I'm looking to short this name. You're coming up into some resistance levels here, I feel like anyways, up near 170. That's a key level. We've dipped off of there before, had a nice back up to 176. When we took 170, we hadn't really seen it since, obviously. 5 or 6 straight down days here for Tesla before yesterday, a little bit of a nice upside move, and then boom goes the dynamite. We talked about this yesterday. Elon was going to make everybody look left and then show them something over here. And that's exactly what happened. Yesterday, it was levered to the downside on our poll. I told you, that I was pretty excited for the long. I just think it's overextended. So up 11%. I thought maybe 3, 4, 5% move might be in store, but this is a nice one. It's a great vision story. There's no doubt about that. So if you come in and you like the name, they'll buy it up. And I think we do break 164 off the open. So if you're a bull, I think you can get long early. But I think the fade happens. And I'm going to be trying to wait for it. So right now I'm waiting upside to short this thing in and around that 166, 167 level. If we can get a short into there, that'd be great to start with. But again, we're not going to be stubborn on here. We trade with too many shares to be able to hold this thing for too long. So I'm not going to do that. Either lower your shares and average into a short and be ready to lose, you know, or be patient, wait for bigger levels and put the money in at the top. So I'm going to choose the latter there instead of trying to figure it out. So give me 166, 167 on Tesla for the short. I'm not even looking long today.
But like, it's not even a thing. We were just saying as well, like we were talking yesterday about the semi. Like I didn't see a single comment about the semi truck as well. After Pepsi came out with that number last week, they said, I think they were at 35.
That's what I was going to ask you. Yeah.
And they were supposed to be at 100 on the road at this point or something like that. Anyway, I just saw this pop up. Snowflake's up 1.5%. They just launched a LLM. So now Snowflake has an AI as well, but not a heck of a lot of volume behind that, but heads up. 85,000 Nvidia H100 is going to be installed to train Grok by the end of the year. So, I mean, there's a couple of things on Nvidia. There's this Run AI as well that apparently they're close to acquiring. Nvidia is close to acquiring. So it's fading off here a little bit, but was higher.
It was not just Grok, Brendo, that wants to order these 85,000 chips, but Musk said on the call yesterday that he's upping his demand for the H100 from 35,000 to 85,000. And specifically, he didn't mention anything about the MI300 from AMD, which he previously said he'd be looking to buy as well, in addition to the H100. This comes as good news to Nvidia because, well, they've got the Blackwell out now, and they definitely want to get rid of their older inventory. So good look here. Let's see if they can actually continue to move this product.
Yeah, I mean, he has that, he was calling it the dojo, or
Yeah.
he was building that separate unit in Texas to house this dojo that was going to train the robot and the robotaxi and everything else as well. So
I thought he called it a dojo.
why not?
No, you train in a dojo.
Yeah, exactly.
That kind of makes some sense to me. But look, Nvidia's not the only thing that's in the chip names that are up. Like Nvidia's only up 1.6. I'm going to double check on ARM in a second, but that was the one that was really running. Nvidia's back at 850. You had the doomsday, whatever we're calling Friday, and that moved down. Like it was insanity. Like you dropped almost $100. It was all momentum down. You're right back at that level. I think that's the 850, and I know the top over there was like 852 or something like that. If you get to that price and you're not breaking 52s, I think it just looks like a fade to me. It's such an incredible rally. Even if it's not going to fall off the face of the earth at that price, but there's got to be some like recent dip buyers that are looking at that level. If you bought in the 770s or the 760s, it makes a heck of a lot of sense. And then the other sort of obvious one here, ARM is up 4% and back over $100. Basically the same thing. Everything that lost on Friday is right back into that top. It's got the 100 to 103. If it's not breaking out at 103, I think it's got a similar flat bottom breakdown play on it. And it's quite the rally. It looks like a relief rally to me. We haven't had any numbers from any of the chip names. Obviously, it's good news that, I mean, Elon's going to be putting more Nvidia and putting more money in Nvidia's pocket, but like we've already known the spend has been increasing. Like this is not new. Like we know everybody's still going and running right to them. It just proves that Nvidia is good on dip buys, but you've just gotten back to that 850 level so fast. I mean, almost incredibly fast, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm, shout out to Chef Joe. I'm also pretty salty down here, not only with the beard, but also with the fact that we almost pulled the trigger down here on Nvidia. We talked about that live on the show, and we didn't do it. And because I just was thinking we could even get lower, and I wanted to wait for the report. So I think I'll probably just do that unless we do get another move down off Meta tonight. I could see that happening, but not down into here if this happens. We had a nice move in Nvidia. It's missed. So now you're back up to the 50 period. I don't really want to go long this name, but it's working. So I'm not going to look at it. I didn't even, we had a day yesterday, and I didn't even look at any of the chip names. And today there's nothing really exciting on my mind as far as chips are concerned. I'm really looking forward to Tesla. Oh, the sticky note is out right now, and this will be a name that's not going to make it on your list, but was P&L number one yesterday. P&L number one, I think, I don't know what Brankles is up to, but maybe P&L number one on the floor. We had Palantir yesterday, and as you can see right here, 2150 long. Yesterday we crushed it to the short side. We crushed that 22 short. We talked all about that. Here's Elon, guys. You know, because I said short sell up here, and this Elon, I just found this little GIF. You know, come on, man. I don't mean, come on, Elon, I don't mean that. But right there, Palantir, I think we should be buying the dips on this. Now we've been proven that even though we crushed the short yesterday, we talked about that. We didn't talk about it on the after show, but this was obviously well documented here on our show. When this started to rip to the upside right there, we shorted right up here. And we talked about why we like this position, and then we had it all the way back. But look where it stopped, 2150. And that was a great little level there. It was a great level in the morning. It was a great level in the afternoon. And this is where we started to cover. And then we got covers right at the end of the day. Right into here, 2160. So you're up 2%, really on nothing here today. But if Palantir can show us strength down there in and around that 2150 area, your boy's a buyer, and I'm sitting there right now. So I have many ideas, and none of them are chip ideas. So for today, we'll be looking, I mean, Palantir to me, like I said, if you're going to butter your bread yesterday the way we did on this name, then I'm going to come back to it again. So this is an AI play, very similar. If Nvidia can run, we already saw Snowflake, Palantir can do the dance as well. I'm much stronger opinion today on Palantir than any of the chip names, period, which is funny because I think they're my top P&L names for the month. So, all right, let's go back over here and talk to Sharif and Brendan again and start running through this. We talked about Boeing. Boeing yesterday was on the sticky note, long 168.
Yeah, not as bad as expected. Boeing CEO Calhoun on CNBC currently saying Stephanie Pope, or he believes in Stephanie Pope's potential to run the company. So aligning possibly succession. Anyways, Calhoun also saying FAA review is going well. So a couple of comments coming right now. Again, he's on CNBC, it looks like. I was just double checking as well. The earnings call is actually 10:30. Which is late for an earnings call. But Boeing, yeah, up. About to take out the highs here, maybe on some of these comments coming through, but not as bad as expected here for Boeing.
Yeah, knocking on the door of 4%, not a bad look at all. So a narrower than expected loss, guys. Also less cash burn than the street was looking for. But let's be real about it. It was a beat on the top line, but a miss on the bottom line. And there's a lot of questions still left unanswered. When will they stabilize the production of the 737 MAX? When are they going to appoint a new CEO? Brendo alluded to a possible successor. How much is this current crisis going to cost them with all these backlogs and pauses in production? So many unanswered questions. I feel like they're a company in a state of flux at the moment.
Yeah, there's a couple of notes on the 787 as well. Ramping back up of production was going to be slower than expected, but yeah, not as bad, I think is the way to put it for BA today.
Yeah, they're just looking for a bottom. You have this deal. I mean, they're trying to make this deal for Spirit. There's some things that have to get done for them to buy Spirit because we all know that this is a duopoly, and Spirit has Airbus as a customer. So they'd have to divest. Like that business needs to get separated. Like they'd have to take the Airbus business out of Spirit for them to combine. I think that would be a good sign for the market. Whether or not that gives you the push, who knows? But this is the consolidation, at least for the last week and a half, that we've been sort of mentioning going into earnings. It just so happens it didn't make the break at 172 until we had the earnings print. So without the break available at 172, all I can look for is a dip to be long in front of the breakout price. So if it gets underneath 174, I'm looking long on Boeing. I only want to be long this stock, not to say that the report was great, but we just wanted it to not stink and show signs of a turnaround, and then you get a little bit of a relief rally potential. Keep in mind, with that 10:30 earnings call, the opening rush, no worries, 9:30 to 10 o'clock, you're good. But as you get into 10 to 10:30, as a day trader, I would shift strategy a little bit there. If you're holding and you're in the money and you're trailing something, that's one thing. But if you're looking to enter a position going into the earnings call, you got to carefully select how you want to get out. Are you intending on holding through the call and all that whipsaw? I don't like doing that. Or do you want to have a tight stop that if something spikes it, you're just jumping out of your trade and then worrying about what is next? You know those calls can move the market, and if you're not listening to it live, you can get yourself in some trouble. So it was a breakout off the 172. We've liked this consolidation for a week and a half. Sometimes the breakout isn't going to be there. You don't get to sit there and have, a coin breaks 268 in front of us, or 238 in front of us, and then continues to go. I know you like the cardigan games there, Ty. Yeah, but we got that break 238 on Coinbase, but this case, you're gapping above it on when the earnings came out on light volume, so you just got to look for the dip buy for myself on Boeing.
All right, let's touch on some Chinese ADRs here. I'm just going through a few of them. We asked about, or we talked a little bit about the EV side of things coming off Tesla, but even the other ones. Here's Alibaba, nice gap to the upside, up 1.8%. JD, same story, up 2.8%. So across the board, a little bit of positive economic data coming out overnight from China, but also a nice day for their market as well. And it's been a while, but we're actually starting to see some correlation once again between how the overnight session plays out and then how we come in the morning. We went for a long, long time with that really meaningless.
Oh, yeah.
And some of these Chinese ADRs just following the US markets, but it seems to be going back to the China correlation again.
We've seen all the attempts that they've done over there to kind of artificially stimulate their economy and their market, either by banning the short selling in certain instances or injecting money into the company directly through the EV groups. We also saw today UBS giving the nod to MSCI, the China index, so that is an interesting look as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on the situation. Keep your eye on PDD. It's been awfully strong lately too.
Yeah, I mean a lot to look at today, but notably strong here, guys, for these ADRs.
Yes, I don't know. Monday had the 70 break, and then yesterday wasn't looking at them. And I don't know why, but it's I think that was a bit of a fail because it's pretty much exactly the same setup 2 days in a row. Dip, rip, breakout. So if it does the same thing, it could dip back into here and take out this top at 74. That would be, I mean, it's a bigger dip because of the gap up, but if you look at it, it did on Monday, it dipped right into the previous low, and then you got a nice consolidation, then late breakout, which was the afternoon play for us, stare to stare, and then it held 71 the next day. So, I mean, I like what Baba's doing. I've said this before, I'm not getting faked out by this in the long term. I'm not adding until I see it make some higher lows and break out to 78 and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, I like Alibaba. I'm going to stay away from Pinduoduo. And I'm separating, I'm not putting like Li Auto in the same camp with, like I might like some longs in Baba or something, but I'm not putting Li Auto into that camp. I know what the Chinese ADR as well, but the EVs aren't the same thing.
Yeah, so right here we have 73 long written here for Alibaba. So again, it's been so strong off the 70 level here. It is your sticky note name. We only have 5 ideas on here. One of them is Alibaba, and we have been on Alibaba a lot. So right there, we'll be patient with it. We'll see if we can get it back into that level. So I like 73 long for Alibaba. I think it can work. It's the only Chinese name that I really ever trade, and it's been a good one. So Alibaba down here. I mean, again, yesterday's high, a pullback in, good news from China. I don't even, I never really focus too much on when they report because by the time you come in, it's already happened and it's overnight there in Hong Kong. So hold on a second here. Baba, I think they're in line May 16th, so they're late. So you're gonna have to wait, 3-4 more weeks in the market and a lot's gonna happen by then. So we're not gonna play this into earnings right now, but we're gonna play it as strength. And we know that they have a big AI platform. They've got big into the cloud. They have a $25 billion share repurchase program on. I like Alibaba. I'm long this name at 71.85 or something like that, and have been holding this name for a while. I mean, we bought it down here, 70, or I think it was down into here, 71. We saw it get back to 76. We saw it drop dramatically over the last week, and now straight upside in 4 straight days. So I like Alibaba. It's working off 73, and it's a bid that I have in.
All right, 2.5% here for Meta. Snapchat, not as much, but definitely more volume anyways at this point. But 500,000 shares here for Meta. So we get through the House and the Senate on this TikTok deal. So what was it, 6 to 10 months they were saying, or 6 to 9 months it may take for them to actually get this to the finish line, but it's looking like it might actually happen.
The TikTok tailwind, or whatever we used to call it last year, guys. But TikTok's not going to take this lying down. There's going to be several legal challenges on multiple fronts. TikTok has made that very clear. Firstly, they're going to take it on First Amendment grounds, free speech. So we'll have to see how that happens. You'll recall a judge in November in Montana blocked a state ban there on First Amendment grounds. So lots to see exactly how this unfolds, but a big step from Congress.
Yeah, and I mean, they had to tie it to this funding bill to actually, get it through both of these, but we'll see. I mean, the market benefiting from this move as well, but nice look here, guys, 2.4% for Meta.
Again, off earnings, going to be a different story tomorrow.
Yeah.
I sold some Meta, which was a mistake when we broke through this 50-period moving average. We talked about that on Friday. It was Thursday or Friday. It was I think it was Thursday, because then when Friday was going down, we were like, oh, that was good. And then it came right back up, and I was like, okay, now that was bad. So I don't know. I took some off. I think it's getting a little frothy up here. Another 2.5%. Look, I mean, they're firing on all cylinders. They're going to be coming out tonight with their report. I don't have it written down for any sort of a trade here. I looked at Tesla yesterday. I don't think we traded it, or if we did, we were in and out of it pretty quickly. I'll have to look back at that. I don't really love trading names the day into earnings, but again, some nice tailwinds here for Meta, up to 510, looking to break longer here. Any pullbacks, like 500, if you're going to play a psychological level, I think that would be the one. But you're up 2.5%. If the market fades, I feel like they'll come and get Meta. So I would rather fade this name than go long. Again, so this 512 is looking pretty interesting to me up here. If you look at a 20-minute chart, you have 512 right here again as well. So for me, I'd rather fade Meta being up 3%, 2.5% already. Feel like that's too much. But again, if there's some whispers out there that they're going to have a blowout quarter again, then, I mean, this is what happened last time. 400 to 480 last quarter. Bang, up $60 or more than that. That could happen again today. Like if you take out that 520. Remember what Meta did last time is they announced dividend.
Yeah, it was a huge...
So
I think
that's, Fabian, come back to the...
Here we go.
So when Meta announces a dividend and the thing rips up like 18% or whatever it was last earnings, maybe even more than that. Maybe I think it was more than that.
Then it was kind of sideways the day of, though.
No, but it's like it just goes to like what you can't expect anything. We weren't talking about a dividend.
Surprises are good.
What are they going to announce today? Like that's what I'm saying. You don't know. It's very difficult to sit in front of or get behind either way. A stock ahead of earnings like Meta. So
but what makes me like that though is
I'm gonna fade 5.
Then I think it's less likely you get an outside day, and what that provides you with is like playing off of the edges, and especially like if the stock comes in at like 10:30 to 11 o'clock. And like you said, maybe it's threatening red. Like I wrote down that I like the dip into 500 because we closed under 500 yesterday at 96. So like you can bounce, you could fill that gap in, be at the bottom, and I'm like, are we really going to sell through and go red after 2.5 up going into the earnings day? I mean, it feels a little bit unlikely, and you've got the support of the 500 level psychologically if it tries to fill in that gap. So I think playing for this, I'm not, like on a normal day, I would probably look at this breakout and say you're just going long through 512. You're bouncing higher, double top in there from last week, and you just look for a breakout. It's got a catalyst and all that, but because of earnings, I kind of lean in the other direction. It's the same reason why if Intel sniffs 35, I want to be looking for a short trade because they're reporting on Thursday, and I just feel like should it be breaking out going into it when there's so much uncertainty? I didn't really look too much at Snapchat, but like Meta, if it gets down to 500, I think that's the area that I get interested in looking for a bounce. Because I'm not expecting it to go red after this bit of a catalyst. I wanted to quickly just mention Riley here for a second, that Riley Financial. Anytime something's up 47%.
What?
Yeah. Remember these guys? This was the Huadunk. Well, you go back into November, this was a Huadunk, and then like they had their audit came out positively.
You have to be kidding me.
80% short float. 80% short float. And it broke this out just this morning on the report, $27. It's in the rear view now, but it's already pulled back pretty heavily. I did think it was going to dip at the open. I don't wonder if it didn't do it here. When I was I made a tweet this morning when it was, I think it was around the 30 level, looking for a dip back in front of 26, where then you could go rallying. It ended up breaking out from there and is now starting to pull back. But I think 26, 27 is still that key spot for them. I do not want to be looking short on Riley with the pent-up anger that this stock has. And Dan McIsaac asked if we had locates here at Real Trading for DJT. We have pay for shorts on DJT. They're not free today, but I don't think they've been free. We just always have.
Well,
to
they
pay
are
for
free.
locates. No,
You got to get them. What are they?
Today,
2 cents?
no, today it's actually the most expensive it's been in weeks, which is 11 cents a share.
Yeah, so
but that's
the spread.
I think it was like 2 cents or maybe 2 or 3 cents yesterday, and before that it was even cheaper. So you have to pay for locates on DJT. I bet you we have to pay for locates on O'Reilly. Not that I'm looking to go short that stock.
All right, guys, today we are breakout with confirmation. We're talking about bull flags all week, so double check the bull flags charge is the lesson of the day. Check that out with Adair and I at 11, Brenda. I know, it's all good.
Just real quick on NVIDIA. No, I'm not. Real quick on NVIDIA, orchestration software provider Run AI, as we were mentioning before, it looks like this deal is done. So NVIDIA to acquire GPU orchestration software provider Run AI.
Forrest, run.
Run.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's going to be private, but NVIDIA with a little bit of a spike.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a move there on those imbalances.
Yeah, the imbalances also came out. That was the other thing that happened. But that's like $3 on NVIDIA, which, given the gap up, isn't even that big. I'm looking over, what do you got in the imbalances?
Well, there's ARM. I mean, ARM has 100,000.
Oh, yeah.
ARM is up to $100. We've already sort of talked about that. It's trying to hold that bid, so you just get a shot in the ARM right there. What's up, Fabian? Sharif, stop distracting them. Okay, you're talking to Ram. All right, up to 101 there right now. So watch out for ARM getting that shot right there. Bang. Nice move to the upside. Look out for Apple to the downside possibly. But overall, it's a mixed picture. So I'm not really thinking too much here on this. We do have the name that we've been looking at, Palantir, on here. There's only 3 minutes left. I mean, we don't have, or 2.5. We don't have a huge runway right now for trades. So let me just go over what I'm looking at. So we're going to get excited now because we only have 2 minutes. We're looking at a dip buy in Alibaba. If that comes through, great. So that's something that, these are bids that I currently have. I currently have a fade spot here up at 512 for Meta. That probably is going to fill. So if and when that fills, yeah, I don't want to be in it for too long. I mean, this was that trade there. Let's give it $1 up to 513. And then we'll regroup on Meta. Meta's strong today. It's up that 3%. We do not want to stand in front of this car. In soccer train, I guess, and talk about what could be a freight train. It's Tesla. And there it goes. Remember what we said? I said Tesla probably takes this top off the open. So if you believed me and you took that, then right now you're $4, $3 in the money. So let's see what happens right now with Tesla getting excited. I'm sitting up at, we told you, 167, 168 to try to grab that fade. That's all that I have. And then I have Palantir bids down at 2150. So those are the trades that I'm going to be taking. Let's see, and good luck to everybody today, and let's see what winds up happening.
Yeah, good luck everybody out there. ARM on that imbalance to the upside. It was coincidentally the same time as that Nvidia news, so maybe a little bit of double barrel action to the upside. Now that it's over 100, it's either 103 or it has to be under 100. I do not want to stand in front of the freight train. I want to be patient looking for a curl. We're looking dips into Boeing. I got a 74 change bid in there. I mentioned Intel if it gets to 35. It's not that close, but it's close enough. 35 quarter, the big level of resistance for them. They report tomorrow. I might have accidentally said tonight, but they report tomorrow after the bell. If they get through 35 even, I'm looking to short into the quarter level on that particular name. We already mentioned Li Auto looking for a bit of an offer. Maybe it gets there, maybe it doesn't. And I'm way out there on Tesla. You know, like I said, it gets to the 170 area. You know, I'll look for curls elsewhere, but I'm kind of waiting for 69 if I like the 170. I have an offer at the 169 and Daryl Strawberrying at that one at 44. I like Daryl Strawberry. I've always been like I don't know, I like the Mets back in the day there, Sharif. But we got about 20 seconds to go to this open. And what's crazy about it is it's only Tuesday. The bigger earnings yet to come, but we got a big one today. You got Boeing, you already had Tesla. We know they're going to move around. But let's ring it, Adara, in 3, 2, and 1.
All right.
And they're
all right,
off.
we already have Palantir looking at that. Oh, we had Roblox was another idea that we had on our board as well. So we'll look at that if and when that comes through. But here's Tesla, 163 on open. So we're just chilling right now, waiting to see what winds up happening. So 163 bouncing around right now for Tesla. Here it goes, 160, still doing nothing. But look at the U.S. markets right now as the NASDAQ up 0.77 and still trying to go. And by the way, what did we say about Meta? Yeah, we nailed Meta, but I didn't expect it to go down $5 while the market started to go up. We expected it to go up first and then down. So there goes Meta again. Darn, we had that one, but it's okay. We'll wait for it to pop back up. Meta into that 512. Tesla right now up to 164. There it is, man. We said if you like the long, play it. And there it goes. Big time opportunity here for anybody trading Tesla to the long side. Congratulations. You know that I was not thinking bullish on that, but there it goes. We did talk about an early move up for Tesla. So for me, this is as expected. It's TSLA. Nice move. Congratulations if you believed in the long.
Yeah, it's wild move to the upside. I think we're going to get an opportunity. If it breaks at 65, look, a breakout in Tesla could go $5. So if it breaks 65, I'm already waiting at the 9 level. We mentioned that, hey, I don't think the other names should be up. Rivian's already heading down. So my thesis of shorting a pop on Rivian if Tesla was going up already can't do it, unfortunately, here for me because that stock's only going down. Boeing starting to come in. Remember, Boeing has their earnings report. Sorry, they had their earnings report. The call is at 10:30, so everything changes in about 1 hour for Boeing. But I like the dips back down into 72. Already got it off the pre-market lows at 74, looking for the first dip buy. So we got to be patient today. I mean, not everything is going to be coming in to the prices you want. Oh, never mind. Tesla does not break 165. Okay, so it didn't even break.
No.
I don't want to get super aggressive with Rivian and start changing my plan with that stock just yet.
All right, here we go. Let's go, man. If you're rocking over here, you're rocking with me. And there's $2 in the money on the Tesla short. It's trade idea number 1, and that's that, Patrick. You're done for the day now. There it is right there. A nice little move to the downside. We've got this trade, and that's what it's all about. Shout out to everybody out there that's rocking with me here again. We'll go 1 for 1 early, but we're only out of 40% of this one. There's the Tesla move down. We're short at 163.50 right now. Let's see where it goes. We could still get ripped off here and go right back up to the upside. You know, we've held on to these things for a minute before, so let's see if we can get it going again. I don't have any targets other than 160 right now. So let's put a bid right there and see if we can't get this party started. Oh, man, like, what a good move there for Tesla right off the open. We're pretty proud to have been so confident about what we're talking about. So let's go. Nice move there for Tesla back into said downside right there. So that's a good move coming for TSLA right now. All right, so that's a good one. Down into 160, we'll wait for that. Meta, we nailed Meta, man, but unfortunately, it didn't give the bump. Like, it was a short idea. All right, now we're $2 and still going down on Tesla. We said this would be the name, and that's exactly what it's turned out to be. It's Tesla, and it is fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. Go 1 for 1.
Oh,
1 for 1 over
man.
here. We got 1 dip buy off the pre-market low. We want dips in Boeing. We said go station to station. That's just my experiences around earnings calls, so I want to be in and out of Boeing, at least until everything is done. But we just got 174, pre-market low into 176, scalps them out when it got 60 pennies. It was actually off the 75 level, and then it just got to 76, where it's running into resistance. So we're going to take that one in and out. Going to have to miss out on ARM, it looks like, and Rivian, but that's okay. I mean, Rivian did not participate the way I wanted. I wanted to short sympathy on Tesla, but Tesla went up and Rivian went down. Li Auto, sort of the same thing in here. Li Auto only going down right away, so you got to be patient. I want to short pops in that name if we can. And speaking of which, the next one to come in is going to be Intel, so we're going to be chilling out. That's at the 35. Instead, we wait for it to get into the 35 and a quarter to be able to take it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to eForce. Thank you so much to everybody in the chat. I mean, we're $3 in the money on Tesla, and it's exactly what we had called. Up early, fade late. You guys talk about professional trading, real trading, stuff like that. If you don't have your ideas and you don't execute against them, then this is something that's really changed, again, the way I trade, right? It's very, very specific, looking for these kind of trades. And it's honestly, a lot of it is because of you guys. You wanted to get trades that, you know, not only are optionable trades, but trades that we can describe to you and make sense, and then hopefully make dollars at the end of the day. And that's what it's all about, right? Like, getting in and out of something is very, very profitable. Scalping is great, and that's what this is. So we're trying to scalp it out here. We went right back into the day's low, and we did take a piece out. Teslas could rip back up. For sure. So you gotta be able to take something out, but at the same time, I want to try to be able to hold this in case the thesis that I have plays out. So that's what we're doing right now. We've had so many great trades that we've dumped early because we've scalped out, and we've looked back and been like, nah, all right, let's go back over and see what's happening with Alibaba, because on any dip buys, we do want to buy 73s. It only went down to 73.50, unfortunately for us. And that level right down there was not one that we were looking at. I'm bidding 73.15. So now that I see that the 200 period's there, we probably could have done a little bit of a deeper dive on that one and been able to nail that. Let's see if Uber's having any sort of a day today.
Oh, just on it, no.
Yeah, down to 70. Yeah, not a big mover here. I'm pretty confident that we'll just sit in this Tesla for a minute. I have no more bids. So, you know, there it goes. If it goes up, I mean, it could go up from 160. I could definitely see that. So if you guys are somewhat cautious about about Tesla, I've already seen a hold down here. So I'm out. Like, we only have 40% left. So let's just see what happens. I'm willing to sit here and risk this trade. So let's go to the downside right now, targeting like 150, into here, 155, 156 maybe for Tesla. So that's something that I'm looking at, maybe 157. Here we go, guys. It's a $4 winner. You've seen it live. I've worked you through it. This is what trading's all about. Let's go.
Yeah, trading's all about taking your shots where you get them. You find the entry, you find the exit. Well, sometimes you find the exit first and then you find the entry. Or you like the direction and you work into a setup. Just quickly in there, at a bad trigger, Rivian did not break $9. I got in and out and lost a cent. But there's no $9 break. It's actually at 9 now. If it bounces off 9, I want to short back into VWAP. I got out of Boeing, and everyone do your own thing, but when I see resistance in there, it just dipped right back at the same price. So we're able to get it before. I'd like to see it settle down and maybe hold this bid, because that is a big rejection as the market is going higher. So I want to respect the fact that we got in and out quick and that you're right back into those lows on a Boeing. My sights are set currently on Rivian. I do want to get that short. I'm on the offer of Intel. I think I'm at the 10s. Where am I sitting? Oh, I'm in the teens on Intel. It's not quite there yet. Now Rivian's testing through the $9 level. Obviously, short. Like, I accidentally shorted it before it broke at 902. Is that a winning trade? Well, obviously, if I take a 9 break and get it at 902 and eventually breaks, that's fine. But my idea was I wanted to short it on the break. So I just took it now at 99s. I'll give that back into 05s. If that loses, I like it back into, doesn't have to be VWAP, but depending on the time, it's either pre-market highs or into VWAP. So we'll be patient with that. Li Auto, not really doing much of anything. I know you already mentioned Alibaba. And Nvidia, no test of 850. Nvidia did wick the bottom, got back up to like 840, 841, not even testing the 850 level. So not a heck of a lot going on for Nvidia in there, but I do think with this market rallying and actually almost up 1% and at the highs, I still think you could have a test of the 850, which is what I'm going to wait for. Not going to step out in front of or away from our level. One more. Amazon, huge dip at the open, holding 180. I like the 180 level, but I only wanted to buy this thing if it's holding strength above 180, and that was just a huge rejection candle. I love when you have a rejection candle like that holds above support.
All right, Kevin, you said it. You love trophy days, so you would love a day like today. This is a big day here, but it could, like I said, we just touched down into 156, 157 there, and now bouncing. So, sorry, 158, sorry, not into 157. So just be careful. I mean, these trades that turn out to be good can easily go oppo there. So let's wait to see what happens now with Tesla, as maybe it's got a footing down somewhere lower than here. So I'm here for Tesla, and I'm here for everybody, and so is Adair. What's up, A?
This Amesite moving pretty swiftly to the upside here. AMST up over 100%, announcing the beta release of its Nurse Magic app for nurses. Also worth noting, they do have a float of about 1.74 million shares. Keep an eye on AMST, guys.
AMST.
That Riley's starting to dip back down in. Riley Financial, that's the 80% short float up 48% now. Actually, it cracked 50% to the upside. It already held 29. I liked 26 earlier, but obviously it went into 35 and was a lot higher than when I wrote that number. So if it can hold on to 30 on a dip, I do like it. I mentioned I paid for locates on DJT. We didn't really get a chance to go over it. If you shorted it at the open, good luck. But the resistance is at 33. If it gets in here and fails 33, I'd like to be able to short that. We're just in Rivian. And Boeing, right decision to scalp. Now you're right back into that 172. So here's a bounce off 172. That's where I want to look to take it. Remember, 45 minutes are going to have that earnings call, and absolutely everything can change for Boeing at 10:30. I don't want to be in it, or if I do, I better be in the money with a trailing stop on Boeing. But we got in and out very, very quickly. It's the only trade that we've resolved at this time. I like the short on the chips, but if it doesn't get to your price, obviously just shorting Nvidia anywhere would have worked.
Yeah.
But like I said, I liked 852 as my out, which doesn't have me shorting 840. It's just that simple. Like, I'm not shorting 840 if 842 is my out. It's got to be a little bit higher than that. Unfortunately, gonna miss out on that short opportunity.
So Palantir's not doing anything, but I'm going to try Meta up here at 507 maybe. We have the 50 period at 508. So I was going to try a little bit of a short here if we're lucky enough to get that play up near 507. So that's something that we're looking for. Tesla is making a move back up, and that's fine. I mean, coming up into VWAP, I'm thinking about maybe taking a piece out if we do break above 161. But again, the day is so early right now that I still want to be here to let it fade out again. I mean, the market is really doing something that I'm well impressed with, man. I mean, it's nice every day when you open up your account and you're like, holy crap, look what's happening right now. But that's a nice move to the upside here for Tesla and for the market. The market's now up 1%, and the missed opportunity was dip buying Nvidia at all those times down there. But yeah, all right, let's go back over to the desk with Adara quickly.
Thank you to our sponsors at VinFast. Join VinFast in redefining mobility with brand new innovative sales models like their unique battery subscription in Indonesia. VinFast has continued to expand their reach with 16 dealers across the 7 U.S. states. VinFast, where technology meets sustainability.
Yeah, thank you there, Adara. Just in Boeing and Rivian still, same two names overall. I did not... Well, we talked about missing out on Nvidia, which is fine. I think if the only way you get in the trade is to break your rules, then you should be okay with missing the trade. And then the same thing with ARM. It did not show any sign of weakness where we wanted it, so we're not in that one, and I'm glad we're not in it. That said, Rivian is now back underneath $9, so we're short right here at 9 even. There's a bit of a gap fill from 9 to 855. I want to get some out in front of that gap fill. That Riley stock, I just want to keep tabs on it. You want it to get down into 30 to try and get a good risk to reward to the low of the day, but it doesn't seem to want to go there. So Riley might not execute that one, but I don't think you don't want to stray too far away. If your stop is at 29, I'm not buying 32s or 33s. I want to stay in the pocket with that. ARM, if you're shorting that one, I'm going to have to wait till its weakness underneath that 103 level. And Intel, we wanted to fade. What's crazy about it is I was already on the offer at 18. I saw it didn't get filled. I'm like, I thought I was offering that price. And I offered it again, but it didn't actually print 18s. It got up there and didn't print. That's annoying. I'm going to pop the fail in there because if I had that level 2 up instead of Boeing, I probably just punched that short. Now I got to look for the 35 short in here somewhere on Intel.
Yeah, I should probably start looking at some chip names. Roblox is coming back down. We have done well holding on to Tesla here, but it's still bounced real nice off that 158. I mean, that 158 level, 157, if you take the 158, I mean, you have an out here, so that makes sense. And now you're starting to rip up back up to the upside, which has been good, really good move. Now back up for Tesla as the market is not slowing down. Meta, we had the darn right idea on that one, but unfortunately, we missed it by, I think it was 50 cents. We were sitting at 507. It got as high as 506.30s. and now it's really starting to fade out a little bit right here. So Meta missed opportunity on that one. We should have been there for that short, but we're still going to wait for that level. Now, you know what? Now I'm going to put one at 506, just a small little tester there, see if we can start a fill up and around 506 for Meta. That would be nice. Apple with a huge move upside as well.
That's what.
But it's not huge. It's still less than the market. But trying to make a top there, 167.50. The problem is, what does this market want to do right now, right? And so when you're always thinking about Apple, you got to think about the greater good here, the S&P and the NASDAQ, because if that continues to run, Apple's earnings are they next week? Because they're always with
Yeah,
Amazon.
it's always
So
they're always after the first big
Yeah.
one that's 40%.
yeah, May 2. Yeah, so they're all there.
Then 30% of the S&P is the following week, but
I
it
could
has
get away
Apple
with
and
shorting
Amazon,
this.
which I like. A couple of things in here. You'll see me into Amazon because it held the 180. You'll see me out of Boeing because it did not hold the 170. There we go. The 172. So first dip, good, but the second can't hold 72s. I do not want to be a buyer unless you're back above the breakout price. So it's got to show me some strength off that 172 number. Meta will be a little bit frustrating. It filled in the gap. That's a very quick wick bottom at 500. To be able to capture it, you have to be sitting on the bid. We're at 510, so I wasn't sitting on the bid thinking we're at any shot at getting that price. But yeah, bounced right off to 500. And we did like it, but at the end of the day, there's trades that I'm going to be sitting on the bid or offer, and there's other ones that I want to get in, see it trade at that price area, and then take the shot. Like, I like the shot on Amazon above 180. It doesn't hold 180. I still like it, but it's now going to have to maybe break this top, show me a higher low before I can get back into it. So we're back into only short Rivian, which was one of our few short plans. Well, we had a few of them. Some of them don't have a shot. Li Auto's down 1.5. We're not going to get a pop in Li Auto to be able to fade. Intel, like I said, we missed it. We had pretty much the exact right price, but we didn't get the fill up there, so I have to be patient for it to get back up. ARM, we like that short. It's back underneath 103. So this is possibly setting up, but it's still making an upward pattern. And then Nvidia, not much to do with Nvidia here. Like, what do you do with this? I think you just got to wait. Nvidia can easily break this top and then make one push up, and you're at 850, and then that's the price we were waiting for in the first place. So we'll just stick with Rivian. My first bid's pretty much right here in front of 890. Then we try to fill in the gap down to 880. This could go pretty much anywhere today, but if it goes back green, I'd be a little bit surprised. Sympathy didn't make sense, and if it loses 9, makes sense it should test yesterday's close. Or, sorry, 2 days ago the close.
I think we got to go to Adara.
Keep an eye on Mullen here. Not a ton of volume right now, just below 1 million shares, but worth noting to the upside about 25%. No news on this one today, but on Monday they announced they completed their phase 1 battery pack assembly line. Also worth noting they have a float of about 6.4 million shares. 21% of that is going to be short. MULN, guys.
Is it possible that we could get Adara in our ear when she does that next time, Fabian? No, it's okay. I just because sometimes I can't. We sort of miss this story right there. Okay, so Apple. So just quickly, so we took some more shares here on Tesla just to see. I still want to give it to that 165, but it's at 162 now. Great bottom picks down there for sure. 167.50 for Apple is what I want to test. Look, I am just as dumbfounded by this market today, honestly. It's I'm really surprised this market's going without Tesla going. Like, Tesla's actually basically where we opened, right? Even a little bit higher, I guess, than where we opened. And this market is like really on a move. I marked down Google as a possible long today as well. No, at 157.50. Are you? Oh my God, I almost threw up. Okay, we wrote down here Google 157.50 long. That is crazy that we're not in that. 150. What is the bottom of Google today? 157.45 or so. With that wick doesn't do anything to me off the open. Wow. Okay, missed opportunity. Huge right there today. My bad. At least we wrote it down. I don't know if anybody else got that, but that's another missed opportunity. Yesterday we had that Palantir that we wrote down at 22, and we didn't put an order there. And then the chat was all over it saying like, dude, your levels. I missed that one on Google today. Too obsessed with this one over here on Tesla. But darn, that Google, definitely a nice one. Let's see. I was like, let's see if Meta wants to come back up to our levels. So the one that I'm remembering is Meta. The one that I'm forgetting is Google, and Google would have been hot fire. So, okay, that's just another missed opportunity. We'll have to stay in our lane a little bit more, Sean, and take some more advice there and look at our own levels a little bit better. But that's a good one there for Google. I like it. So with that note, let me check out Alibaba quickly. All right, so that's not there yet. I have a bid on Alibaba and Roblox and Palantir, so I'm there on everything. I didn't have one on Google, so a mistake there, but I want to short Apple if that gets going. And here goes Tesla, man, by the way, all the way back up to this high side. So a break of 165, unfortunately, we'll be giving it back. So watch out for 165 here on Tesla.
Well, jinx. Yeah, and if Tesla does that, I'm probably reloaded on Rivian. I'd say almost certainly. And it'll end up being VWAP. That's more of a coincidence than anything else, but it'll be above the 9 levels. So I have 9 short, but I'm looking at 902, 903 to the south side. Down Sky, Enphase, take a look at Enphase. So look, I had one idea for Enphase, and that was if it got to 100, it would be short sell restricted. I wanted to bounce off 100. I'm not standing in front of this, even if the quarter was bad and they missed on everything up top, bottom, left, right, center.
They missed left, right, center?
Okay, no. Well, okay, fine. They missed like Vladdy did making a simple play that cost us a game last night. Is that better?
I've already talked to you about this. I don't know what they're going to do with Vladdy.
Oh, that's fine. Otani's coming to town this weekend. That'll be fun.
But not as a Blue Jay, unfortunately. No.
Yeah, that hurts.
It hurts everybody.
We never had a chance at Otani. I think we've all accepted that here.
Guys, we are killing this apple
Enphase, I would not touch it with a 10-foot pole. That's just my 2 cents. I'm not standing in front of that one. I know it was a bad report, but I wouldn't short it.
All right, PL1 just comes into the building real quick. Apple, I am way up on Apple now as I've just been piecing this out. We got exactly the fill we described. We wanted this fill up here at 167 and change. So now we're getting out of this name as I don't even know why it ripped up like that, like so aggressively. I was watching it, and all of a sudden it just marched up like 20 or 30 cents where I thought there was news or something with it. But for right now, my out on this was 167.72. So it's only 10 cents worth of risk. So we're only right now in 15 cents worth of a winner. So it's not like this is a monster or anything like that, but we got more shares than we thought. Immediately, we got filled on all 3 of those positions. So yeah, man, we are all about that base. And if that base is short, then that's what we're about. All right, here we go. 162 right now. We are short at 162.60 now on Tesla. I'm going to put a bid at 162 flat. Maybe we do get that fill now coming back in, but this is going to be a little bit of a risky position. Definitely understood that as Tesla has, oops, you can't even see the percentage there, still up that 13% and honestly taking out day's highs right now. So I think like there was Rivian. Yeah,
No, Nvidia.
There was enough, fresh lows, darn, she'll look at that. There was enough juice in Tesla to win on both sides for sure. We talked about the open pump. Then we talked about that dump. Then we talked about that break of the 200 and right back up to the upside. So we rode that downside. Now we're trying to get that wave one more time. As here comes Apple, man, making me pretty nervous again that we're going to give it back. So here it comes, right back up to the upside. Apple now, like bizarro world is upon us one more time because as the market falls down here, I'm like, okay, Apple, we got you. And Apple just goes back up 20 cents. So a good recovery for Apple here. Maybe it's a lot stronger than we thought. You guys know where my outs are up here at 70. Right now, I'm dancing with this devil. And it's the devil that we know and love. And it's Mr. Elon Musk. Right now, I'm short this name. And it is so hurtful.
Ooh, so hurtful.
Because of this, that's, I just want
well,
that's hurtful.
Yes, that is hurtful. The other thing too is we didn't even talk about like
my bad.
Yeah, there we didn't talk about the Toscan and all that kind of good stuff. I'm dancing with Intel to the short side because we never had a shot at Nvidia. And Boeing just bounced off 171. I had that long, but very quickly, Nvidia is really giving it up now. So sometimes you can't find the execution. I didn't find it. I like the short on that name. We're not going to be able to get it. ARM is underneath VWAP, so forget about the 103. I'll look to underneath VWAP for that short. Intel did give me 35s. So here we are, lower high. At least that's a setup that I like. We can short it off the lower high and then work with that name. Tesla, if it, I still
going upside.
Look, man, I'm still with if it breaks 65, we can still fade 70 play. I don't think that's necessarily over. I know the opening rush is starting to come in here. But that kind of is what it is. Like the longer this doesn't break, the more I'm going to have to look a little bit elsewhere. And then Boeing, we came into the dip again. The first one was a good one, and now we're holding on to this lower high at the 171. But if it cannot hold this, we're going to have to jump out of Boeing and go 1 for 3. I wouldn't be done with it, but I might be done till the earnings call, because 10:30 is the earnings call. I don't necessarily want to be in this one during the call. Nvidia, you're falling like an absolute rock. I did look over at AMD to see, hey, is there a sympathy play? Not a sympathy play. Is there a play I can make in AMD instead of Nvidia? But I don't like the fact, like Nvidia is dropping like this. I don't like the fact that AMD is holding this well. That doesn't lend me to want to short AMD. Intel, I think, is in a different category, and I like the levels on Intel. That's why we went to it. But AMD had nothing for me, so we're going to stay away from that one.
All right, so Tesla's coming up to that 165 level right now. So we got out. So we are holding a small piece of Apple just to watch this thing. Obviously, look at the market. I might just try a short here. I mean, Nvidia's tanking right now. And there's someone yelling cheese everywhere around here.
I don't know who that
right
might be.
So I don't know who that is.
His name might
you know, it's something,
rhyme
with a reef and a
reef.
sure or something like that. But here we go. Okay, wow. I mean, we have too much fun around here. So sorry, that was Apple, not 167. That was my bad. 168 was the level of concern there for Apple. We had already gotten out of our latest disaster for Apple, but we're back in it right now. We should have shorted a little bit higher than that. I'm going to give this one a shot. I don't even have any more offers on this. Instead of 167, 167.95 we're sitting at right now. I'm going to give this one up to 168, like a break of 168. We'll give it a couple more pennies upside because I'm not understanding this move. So let's just see what happens. Maybe we get a pull back into the 50s again here on Apple. Look at the futures. I mean, we're coming back in here, and I have to sit on Tesla and can't win. Here we go. Let's go, Tesla. All right, now we're 50 cents in the money on that short. And now Apple, come to Papa, Apple. And I'm not talking about you, Mr. Powell. Where are you at? There you are. Right now, let's come back into roost here. Apple, let's see what happens. We've got a decent position on right now, and it is pumping. So let's go down to the downside. Let's see if we can get going now. We just took 2 outs here at 50. Good movement back in for that, and a decent movement back in for Tesla as well. But we are being very, very cautious because that 200 period is down there at 161 for Tesla. So I have a bid at 161.11 right now for Tesla to see if we can get that. I'm going to cancel some of my other bids here, Neil, including Roblox and everything, because this market...
The only bids I have now are to cover shorts.
I have Palantir bids.
And I'm sitting offers. Boeing just gave it up. We'll swing 1 for 3 on Boeing. If I leave it at that first initial scalp, we'd be up, but we took 2 more swings at it.
Look
so we'd be
at
down
Meta,
on Boeing.
Jesus.
I'm going to reload. Like, I got ARM up because like everything is flushing in the chip space. If it bounces off 100, I'm going to look at VWAP in here. And underneath VWAP, I want to be fading it. We got some fills on Intel, and then we're going to go shorting off the lower high, back and rinse and repeat at the 35 level. I understand that like you're still moving around on that Riley stock, but you know, looking for some chip names to be able to play. My note I had 26 is the level. It bounced off 28. So it's still kind of in the falling phase. No strength just yet in Riley. Rivian is still falling. Next bid's going to be down. I thought it was already at 85. Now we're going to be at 80, just out in front of 85. And 870 was yesterday's low. I think that's a reasonable target for them. The other name we mentioned off a 500 level, it bounced the first time, but that was the trade the first time on Meta. Now you can't even seem to hold that. It's the chip bounce that I think could get interesting here because Nvidia popping up should allow me to get into ARM, I'm thinking at VWAP. I don't know about Nvidia itself getting to VWAP. It's still got another $5 to go here. So we gotta be patient for it. I don't want to just sit there shorting lows. I think it's a dangerous way to play, especially in the chip names.
All right, here we go, guys. So we're still obviously sitting here on Tesla. We've talked about that. Apple is the one that's got me the most crook because honestly, it keeps on coming back into 50s and then bouncing and then has a lot of strength. I'm thinking Apple's going to pull something out of its hat as well, possibly on earnings. And I don't know if people are thinking that or what, but like Apple's been really strong today, honestly. Even though it's only up 0.43, the market was rocking and Apple is still high side now. So very, very cautious tail there for me on AAPL. Tesla, we got another piece out. So again, just getting another piece out at VWAP, that has to be done. So there's another out for us there. So that's really working, doing what we've been doing on Tesla, waiting for these pops and then fading them out again. So this reload wasn't that great, but we still got out lower than that last reload, so that's a good thing. And then that reload there is 163, and that cover is 161.70. So again, another silently taking another $1.30 on that name there, Tesla. And then we just got filled again on Apple. Apple just fell right back into those levels. So we'll take another bid here at 61 if we can get it. We're short at 80s. Let's just keep taking 20 cents on this one. Hold for a downside move in case we get it. And let's go over to the desk with Adara.
S&P 500 pretty range bound so far today, a little bit weaker than the NASDAQ, which is up about 0.7%, but both still positive on the day as the market reacts to those Tesla earnings we had yesterday. Miss, but generally some positive news or exciting news there coming out of CEO Elon Musk. Lots of earnings on the horizon. We have Meta tonight and Microsoft and Alphabet tomorrow. So big tech earnings absolutely on watch and worth noting for this market. No major economic catalysts today, but also with earnings be aware Boeing will be delivering they're set to have their earnings call at 10:30. So definitely I'll let you guys know if I hear anything with regards to that. Right now, another earnings name here, Enphase Energy, initially gapping down after an earnings miss. Now we're covering up 1.5% here for ENPH. Here's Boeing as well. Initially, a nice move up. It's kind of opposite of Enphase. Move up and then falling to the downside here. Still up just under 1%. Earnings beat, but some cautious notes with regards to their 737 MAX production. And last but not least, Billy, B-I-L-I, up over 10% here amidst overall strength in Chinese ADRs. These names getting an upgrade from UBS recently. So lots of things to keep an eye on as we head into the rest of the day here, guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wow.
I know. You got to be so patient. That's what we're talking
There's
about.
something.
Okay.
I'm taking my earpiece out.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so here's Tesla 164. I mean, we just took a short there and we just got some out. So again, like I'm not going to, and I was just talking to Ty about this. You know,
What was it?
we could go red on Tesla. I mean, if Tesla rips up through 165, we'll be down on Tesla. So it's not like this move, to me, a little expected because we did talk about it, getting excited here as its own expected move was only I mean, that's a good move, but 9.7%. So when we opened up 12, we thought there could have been that bump. I thought the bump was happening, and then that was that. And we nailed that trade. But, you know, in, and then now we're just going to sit one more time here against that level. So it's kind of just like if that level had broke in the first place. But again, we're going to try it. Our day will still be fine. Apple's been good. Tesla's been fine. It's just, you know, to throw it back sucks. So I'm just going to get out at 165 and then address what our initial trade is supposed to be, which is a short much higher than where we are right now. Tesla's going to be aggressive. We do know that there's a lot of...
The Nvidia.
There it goes. Yeah, so there it goes. So there, I mean, we'll just say fail on that one because the long has been so money on that. So again, good trade. Out for me. I think the best thing to do now for myself would be to wait for possible extension candle. So if we get a nice wick, like right there, we might have just... This is new highs for Tesla. So it is what it is.
I'm still waiting for 170.
That's what I mean. Like maybe we should just be waiting as patient as possible. And then if you just take too many shots at it, eventually those shots expire.
Well, look
like,
at what
oh my
happened.
God, what have I done?
Look what happened to me on Boeing. Like I got the bounce that I wanted, and then I'm like, oh, let's just go back to the well 3 times, and then you go 1 for 3. Because of the win, it won't be. It's really not that bad relative to what a winning trade alone would be. But at the end of the day, sometimes patience is required. I did reload on Intel, and I'll get to ARM in a second. I reloaded on Intel at 35. My average price is going to be 97s, but the last fill was actually at 35 even. I just had some 95s and 96s from before, so the average price is 97. Back under VWAP, I'm taking some profit. And then ARM, I mean, it loosely, so here's the consolidation on ARM. It doesn't quite get into VWAP there. So now you're in the pocket, trying to bounce off 100. I'm trying to short this off of this lower high here, 102.5. If it breaks 100, I want to hold through a 100 break. If I get shares up at VWAP, then I would scalp those out. But otherwise, I want to hold through. So we're still staying short overall. Nvidia doesn't even want to sniff VWAP at this point. Like I think basically Nvidia.
Oh no, where's my bid?
Yeah, like Nvidia is staying away from VWAP, kind of like how I don't stay away from apple fritters. I cannot believe it'll happen to you. Like sometimes you want a direction, but I have an out first, and my out was 52. I thought Nvidia would have been strong enough to get there because usually if you have a short level and Nvidia's going up, it usually gets to your level. Today, it just didn't even do it, and now it's falling apart. Seemed like it was too good to be true, but slap to fail on not finding that short. With any luck, we'll have ARM be able to make up for it, but this was kind of the one I wanted. And if it doesn't get to VWAP, it doesn't set up. Rainmaker says, tell me about Marvell. It's probably down 1%, I'll guess, because Nvidia's weak. I don't know. I haven't looked at Marvell.
I haven't looked at Marvell either. AMD probably as well. So
It's not bad, AMD.
So we're getting up to that 168. We're at 166. So I took a 165.50 here, just a small trade to see. We almost got filled. We were bidding 165.02. It went down to 165.08, or we would have got out of a little piece there. But here we go. So I still have my initial offer out from the beginning, which was 167 flat. So I'm chuckling because we should have got out down there at 158. But that's okay. The day is still completely fine. Just sucks that had to happen right there. All right, nice move up. Palantir's not moving, so I have to leave that alone. It probably missed that bottom on Roblox. Oh, no, we didn't. We are bidding 35.50, but it's right there right now. Nice move back up for the NASDAQ for sure. I think we're going to have to just stop thinking short all the time potentially now because the market, and what I wrote down on the sticky note was I expect a little bit of chop for sure into today because we have huge earnings. Like the fact that Meta's doing this today, honestly, like that was $10 straight.
Look at Amazon. They're all
Amazon. Yeah, like some of these names that we had them written on our sticky note as up. And they're still up. I mean, the day was still fall. Oh no, Amazon's actually red now. So Amazon's getting hit, but some of these names are still fine. It's just a matter of trying to figure them out. So Amazon down there to 178. Maybe that's a buy at some point. Here we go. So we just got our 167s now on Tesla. Man, Pump It is right.
Be careful what you wish for.
This stock is Pump City right now.
So the breakout that's been working on Nvidia set up exactly like the same breakout set up on Tesla. I didn't take it because I've taken it 13 times in the last 2 months on Nvidia, and it's like worked 11 for 13 on Nvidia, which is false bottom break and then takes out the local high. So maybe you should I should have applied it somewhere else, but you can't go back in time. Now the 170 is going to come into play. I like it. I've been offering since the pre-market in front of 170. This is the fade zone that made some sense to me. Like Tesla is still dancing in the middle and then getting up into here at 170. If it can't hold that, you have the mid 70s as well. We're into ARM and Nvidia is getting to VWAP. Ooh, what a reversal this will be if this takes out VWAP with any kind of gusto. I'm in ARM already and in Intel. The question is, do you want to triple it up by going into Nvidia? That to me, that doesn't make any sense. I'm already in ARM, and actually I'm looking to add to ARM. Rivian's even bouncing.
All right, here we go.
It's down. It's in VWAP. I'm still going to take this one despite Tesla ramping to the upside because Tesla's at highs and this is at, it's not at lows, but it's still in the bottom end of the channel. So I was just offering at 99s. I'm just going to get some at 97 here. But if 168 breaks, then we're in the pocket on Tesla to look for that curl. Wow, what a reversal.
Yeah, what a reversal is right. As we get up here into 168, and there goes the break. So
wow.
This is the level. We're short at 166.60, so we are again, like Ty just came up here a couple bucks ago and was like, oh man, I'm too early in all these plays. And then all of a sudden now we're supposed to be short up here where we wrote down 168. And look, if that was the only thing that we had today, sure, we'd only be 50 cents in the money, but at least we'd be in the money. So there's a nice pullback down in there again. Sticky no wins again, and I don't. So let's see what happens now. It's funny how the man that writes it can't make any money on those plays. All right, let's see if we get down now. Like 168. That's just hilarious. Come on, dog. Give me that bone at some point here, man. But it's my own fault. So this is what we're talking about. Although like I keep saying, man, our P&L for the month is exactly, it always needs to be higher, but it's in the pocket of comfortability for sure. But at the same time, I feel like we could have been so much bigger and better on so many different plays if we were just more patient. And there it goes right there. We can't, we actually even talked about that. And that's why Elon, here, let me show you guys here again. Look at the sticky note right now. It's 168 right there. We wrote that down. We even said be patient with this trade. Wait for this trade to get going here, as it's an AI company, and we don't know where this name's going to be valued here in this open market once we got going. Plus, we had sort of the headwinds, or the tailwinds of an outsized move, which is very, very optionable. And we talked about why that was important as well. So, okay, here we go. We talked about being red on Tesla. Let's see if that's not for very long now, if this name can come back in. We are short. We should be dollars in the money. And if you took the sticky note level, man, that's exactly why we post it. So I don't take it, but hopefully others do. So there it is right there. Good trade off that sticky note and off 168. I wish we were a little more patient, but right now we're short 167. Let's put some more bids out now in front of this one. So here we go. Let's see what happens now on Tesla.
Yeah, what a wild, wild ride. But hey, the market's still inside of the range, the way I see it. You haven't broken out the tops. You get a massive divergence here between like the AMDs and the Metas of the world, and then you look at Tesla. The chip names are insane. But look at this. We cannot break top or bottom on the NASDAQ. So when you get to the top, look for your fade plays until we break this range.
$2.
I think you want to slow her down.
Oh yeah, I'm not stopping.
Just hunker down. Do not overextend past your levels. I was waiting for 170 the whole way, so if it doesn't get there, I'm not talking about Tesla doesn't get there. I just looked at Marvell's up 2% and actually holding up pretty nicely. But I'm only in a couple of things.
Let's go.
We said we'd added VWAP on ARM. We've added to it here. We have 101s. I'm going to bid in front of 100, and if it drops down, I'm looking for this gap to fill in. 98 would be the next down. That's off the level that we were short yesterday. So ARM working back in the money, and Rivian never really came out of it here, as it never made sense what it would do when it was going up.
Guys, 250 in the money right now. We put this back on the docket. And by the way, about being negative on Tesla, right now, as Tesla going all the way back down into this level again, wow. To have had the patience. But you know what? Ty came up here, and the thing is, and so did BPI. You know, there's people around here that give a lot of credit. And I'm going to say thank you to Ty. I'm going to say thank you to Big Patty Ice, because, you know, they just said, you know what, you called that level, you know, and we put it on, and they're like, just stay with what you're doing. So again, Mr. Steal Your Girl, you know, Mr. Steal Your Shares up there at 168, and now we're $3. Wow, we don't have the greatest price, but there it is right there. We're getting better. I just heard that back behind us right now. That's the theme around here. You know, we've talked about that. These are the markets that you need to be getting better in. You know, so again, congratulations to everybody behind me. And Tesla, by far, it's not even close, is the #1 P&L name on this floor. And a big congratulations again to the man, the myth, the legend. Pick me up in your Tesla, Max. Thank you so much, Randy. We just freaking nailed that Tesla short, bud. That's what we're talking about.
Randy, great trade in there.
Go.
You got to be patient. Wait for your levels. If it doesn't happen, you don't have to do it. Wow. And if
Look
it
at this,
does,
Randy.
then
All
you
the
want
way
to make
up.
sure you do
Finally.
it. That's the thing. Like, that's a ridiculous move to the upside. Like, that ran $7.
What does this say? Tesla, what price? Take your glasses off. 168 short sell right there. The high of the day, 168. Neil nailed that one. Patience is going to be key. So wait for your levels, and they will come. And if they don't, you don't trade it.
Cool, hold on a second.
You know what I'm saying?
So,
Whew, man, slow down heart rates. Where is Max? Max is behind us.
he's in the middle.
That's right. We gotta go get that brisket again, my guy.
He's kind of usually sitting right right behind you.
And now we have Neil here for the brisket.
Yeah, I missed the brisket that time.
Yeah,
but
we're all
fine.
going. Ramin.
What was that, Ramin?
So Ramin's always trying to hate on me, right? And then she's like, what about, and as soon as she's like, I heard her say, what about, and her name was already out my mouth. Never forget the one thing
Ramin, you can't
you
complain.
don't mess
until
around
you
with women and
You
their
gotta
food.
give the person a chance to say it first before you just automatically assume that you've been excluded. We would never leave We'd never leave out Ramin. Never leave out Ramin. Let's be real. Or Fabi.
Can't see those love letters.
Be real. No, we love them both. Market's now heading back into the downside. So
Everyone knows you
the
miss
shorts have
Max.
come in.
Everyone misses Max. I miss Max.
No, everybody. Max is still here. We actually talk to him all the time. We're able to have discussions in the, when you have the kitchen discussions on the trading floor. Those are always a heck of a lot of fun. And that was quick. All right.
Let's go
So-
Tesla.
Yeah, that was $3 on ARM to target.
Boom.
Stay on target, as Wedge would always say. Is it Wedge or is it Porkins? No, it was Porkins that said stay on target.
What is that from?
No, he's in Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars. Okay.
No, it was the Red Leader. When they're going into the trench and they're literally getting fired on them from all ends.
Okay,
the guy's about to
okay.
die and they're stay on target, stay on target. It's like, no, man, I'm about to get blown out.
Right.
Stay on target, and then the dude gets blown up.
Right. Yeah, that's what I felt like with.
But that's
Tesla
honor
today.
right there. Sometimes you stay in the trench, you gotta hunt that mission down, and sometimes you're gonna have the cannons firing at you. But as long as you stay on target and have apparently Jedi reflexes, you can be good. But I like taking target areas. That's why I'm saying target over and over again. And sometimes this is gonna happen. If ARM ends up breaking down from 98, then I'm finding a different trade. I will find a second trade in ARM. It got into VWAP. I said I would scalp some out if I added it VWAP. I did the scalp out, and then I'm holding the 98. That was the plan the entire way through. So nothing's gonna change there for me on ARM. Amazon, I don't know what the heck is going on with Amazon right now. All I can say is this. I don't care how much ARM just went to the downside. This is my best trade of the day. Easily. Because when Amazon did this dip and then rip and hold 180, all I could think was, hey, this is kind of like the 180 break that we thought we'd get, but it's wipe out bottom, higher low. Let's just take the higher low with a stop underneath 180. If no stop, Amazon's now down 1% and still falling. Don't know why it's falling, just know that it is. And you've got to be able to get out of the way of trades as well. So that could have been really nasty if we were fighting with Amazon today. Shout out to you, Dan. You're saying look at Mara. Mara's strong again. I haven't looked at Bitcoin, so I'm going to look over C66,000. Still not really moving a heck of a lot.
Still in the pocket.
Yeah, it's still in the pocket. Mara
Let's
looks
go,
like a
Google.
breakout here. Maybe 20.5 would be a bit of a breakout into 21. But Mara, I'm not really looking until we get a move on Bitcoin. We haven't seen that yet.
Okay, now $3. We just got another fill on Tesla as it comes back in. And by the way, we did it on Google right there. There's one for Google. There's one for the books. I have mail. Are we supposed to be opening these, Brendo? Okay, just really quickly. So we have mail. I will look at this real quick. Thank you for the mail. Tesla coming back in. We are now $3 in the money on Tesla. We did get that dump in for Google. Google down to 157.80. Thank you. You can take it, Neil.
You go ahead.
I just gotta put some orders out here. So Google in here, 158.20, 158.11. So I do have offers up there for Google, 158.08. Okay, here comes Tesla. Tesla's falling into 164. Here comes Tesla. We'll take a bid. Bang, that's $3 to match Neil's 3-arm. We're putting these numbers out, man. There it goes, Tesla, number one again here today. All right, Neil, let's go. What's up?
Okay, so we got a letter here. I'm gonna show it to you and you can read it. We got it from Mark out in New Jersey. Hi, from New Jersey. Dear Sean and Neil, I ordered the enclosed
Jersey?
custom mugs for each of you as a gesture of my thanks to both of you for the show and the information you both provide, and enhanced by including in the broadcast other members of your staff and the highly knowledgeable guests you bring in. Your show narrows down effective methods for making trades, and I have learned a lot since watching. I know I still have more to learn, but have developed a strong foundation because of your work. Sincerely, Mark. I'll leave out your last name. I don't know if you.
Yeah.
Again, we appreciate you, Mark, and spelt the good way, Mark with a C in there. Because our Mark here spells it with a C. So we appreciate that.
You're very sensitive to how people spell their names.
That's really cool. No, well, I have it with the I, so let's rip it out there.
There we go. So
There we go.
This, I don't know if this is for you. Yeah, so we have different ones. So Real Traders Stay Late. So there it is right there, Real Trading and Trader TV Live. Thank you so much for that, for the market recap show. That's pretty cool.
And then lesson of the day.
There you
Appreciate
go.
it. And that's Honestly, that's so sweet. Like,
That's awesome. Thank you so much for all of that.
we don't really ever ask for anything. Just
I still have a
enjoy
few
the
things
show and
lying
learn.
around here, yeah.
I want to drink a coffee out of this like right now, but I'm
Go
not
do
gonna
it.
get up.
Go
I'm
clean it up,
going to get
clean
up
it
in
up.
a second.
Yeah,
Actually,
go get a
I'm gonna turn
coffee.
this off.
You can go whenever you want. I've got this. No
No, I
problem.
just got to throw some orders out.
Okay, so $3 now in the money on Tesla. We just got out of that. Thank you so much. That was a very, very kind gift. And you know the work that we're putting in, staying late, 30, 40 minutes every day with you guys. So that does mean a lot to me. So thank you so much for that. And thank you to all the viewers. And make sure you do hit the like and the subscribe. And if anybody wants to send, some beer here or something for the after show, that'd be good. But no, it's only Wednesday. Oh, we got practice tonight. So the recap show will be stopping immediately at 4:30. Got to go home, pick up my daughter, head to Hyde Park. There's no parking in Hyde Park. Okay, here we go. $3.20 now in the money. But that reminds me, I sent this note to the rest of my coaches. See, the good thing about being a head coach is you pick your staff. So, and on that note, no one's responded yet. I got to fix my staff. All right, let's go over. We did get out of Google a little bit, only 20%, but it's falling back. We want to watch out for that 157.50. Why don't you guys yell at me, man? It was, I'm okay for a coffee. It came down to 157.50 a couple times. So we took it this last time. We're going to wait again. If we lose 157, we're gone. But if we lose 157, then it's party on, Garth, because that means that Tesla should be all the way to the downside. And without any further ado, it's Adara at the screen.
IWM virtually flat on the day here. It has been trading within a pretty defined range this morning. A couple small cap runners to talk about though for sure, including Branch Out Foods, BOF. This one up over 80% after announcing they have expanding their third contract with this large food retail for $8 million in annualized revenue. Nice look for BOF. We also have Mullen here, falling down a little bit here. Not seeing any news on this one. Initially at one point trading up over 40%. Could be in tandem with these Tesla earnings. But nice look for MULN. Worth noting 6 million share float and 21% short float. Last but not least, another short related name here. Kazoo, CZOO, Kazoo. This one up right now about 20%. This is the second day in a row. This one has been trading higher. No news. About 7% short float, guys.
157. Okay, there it is. Thank you. Yeah, Kazoo. Yeah, play that Kazoo. All right, so Google actually went to 150. We just got filled. So I was like, why am I not getting filled? It came up. We just got filled at 158. So again, the last fill we got was 158.02. We just got a 157.98 or something, right ahead of the 200 period. I still think this name goes, and I want to be here for that. So my next offer is like 158. I'm just going to make sure I get the right gateway in, because I'm finding like sometimes if I use the wrong ones, I don't get filled. But on Google, that really shouldn't be a problem. All right, 158.30. We're going to go up here. I think a break. I'm going to let it go through VWAP. This is a starter position, so I'm always going to try to tell you guys that. We had loaded, the reason why we're so excited about Tesla, honestly, is A, it's sticky note idea number one. So that's the first thing, up at 168. The second thing is we got stopped out right here off of this short, right? And we're slightly red on it. We talked about that. Then we were really averaging in up to 168 where we put it on. And then when it fell back down in, that was such a good feeling because, again, all the work and everything that you put in towards trading and everything starts to work out. That there is really no better feeling than a project or something that you're really passionate about that really starts to come together. So that was really good. And now that we're down in here, and now we're 350 off of our latest reloads up there, that's really something. So I'm really happy with this trade. If you can't tell, let's just keep on doing what we're doing here on the show, picking levels, be patient. This new style of trading for me has really started to pay off, and I'm so glad that we're able to be here with everybody and sort of give this to you. So again, thanks for watching. We're still going to be here. What is the afternoon, the midday show? Not breakouts.
It's still.
Okay, we'll get it in a second, the exact title here, because we want to get it right, you know what I'm saying? So we'll get that for you guys in just a couple of seconds. But Sharif and Adara every single day. If Neil and I are moving a little too fast, like Tesla is to the downside right now, you need to get maybe some understanding of our terminologies, or, what exactly is this guy talking about half the time? Hopefully Sharif and Adara will sort of itch. Do we have it up? Breakout with confirmation. Okay, scratch that itch, but breakouts with confirmation today. So we don't really have a breakout. We had that breakout right there on Tesla, which broke out and was absolutely fantastic. We talked about where that trade could be for you. It was right there in the pocket. It was a good one. It was that Tesla break, and now you're trying to break down. We just bounced off VWAP though, but let's go over to Adair, see what's up.
Not seeing much reaction right now from the stock on this, but it does look like to be a little bit of an update here in this ongoing Tesla Elon Musk pay package situation here. We now have shareholders asking the judge in the case to keep Musk's pay fight in Delaware. We do know that Elon Musk is trying to reincorporate the company potentially in Texas. So not a lot of details there, but just a quick update with regards to that ongoing pay package situation, guys.
Thank you very much, Derek. Thank you for taking that so I could fill this up
Everything
and get my coffee. But I'm going to double barrel give you updates. So we're in 3 things. Sorry, check that 2. We're not back into ARM yet. But I say yet because I think it's very much yet. So Rivian just came back into VWAP and testing underneath pre-market lows. I just added in there. If it gets to 15 and pulls back, I'd want to take some 10s, but I need to see it hold underneath this pullback. Tesla's doing its thing, which is heading back to the downside, and if I like that one down, then I think Rivian can come back in. Just remember it's got a short float. So if it takes out the top, squeezes happen when you take out tops. I'm not reloading Intel unless we get it off the highs. You're now trending to the upside. So that's an upward trend on Intel, which means I'm only getting better fills if I reload the short. Got to be, and again, everyone's a little bit different, but if it's trending up and I still want to short it, then I shouldn't be shorting the same price. You're just going to lose more money that way. ARM, okay, it's not getting to VWAP. Maybe we'll get 100 in here on a curl, but I'd still like to play off of VWAP. So if it breaks 100, I'd look for 100 and a half, 101, something along those lines. Just got to be patient. And Nvidia is the one that got away. If not for the fact that ARM is setting up and even looking weaker than Nvidia, I might be taking this at VWAP. When we're already in 2 chip names short, do not need to fight it. And if you're looking at some other chip names, like, wow. Every now and then I say, hey, past 10 o'clock, you should be trying to look at what's going on and what's relatively weak and relatively strong. All right, so ARM might have been a good trade, but I'm here to acknowledge I once again left out Micron when I was scanning through the chip names that were going, and Micron's the dog. Down 2% and at the lows of the day. So if we get VWAP on this in the middle of the day, you might see me in it. Boeing, we got away from it. We went 1 for 3. Look, I might have taken this bottom here, but I said I didn't want to be trading it going into the call, which starts in 2 minutes. So congrats if you took another swing at this one. It does end up holding the bid, but I never wanted to be trading this right before the earnings call. So I stopped my trading on that right at about 10 o'clock, which is pretty much what I said. I said I will trade the opening rush on Boeing, and that would be it until after the call.
All right, guys, I'm actually changing my tune a little bit here. Remember I was always saying, by the way, Bitcoin's tanking right now. I was always like, let's try to stay away a little bit from earnings, right? But I'm just looking now, basically the whole office behind us is having pretty much their best day as I look, and we don't share everything. I'm gonna say the best day ever from percentage-wise at this time of day. We have pretty much every single person is green behind us, and pretty much every single person has made their day on Tesla. So I just want to say, like, congratulations to everybody out there. Go back over, and this is what trading's about. Look at the names that have the catalysts, and I haven't looked at any of the trading, but there's going to be people that have obviously
65%
won on the short of Tesla, and there's been more money, I believe, made on the long for Tesla. So as we continue to go, I mean, you know, it is what it is right now for that. So, I mean, this has been my number one stock today. We'll go 2 for 3. But again, the number one stock and the number one trade idea for me is Tesla. So, I mean, again, to me, that's what it's all about is, you know, trading your game, trading your book. And I'm just glad that there's a bunch of traders behind us that are doing the same thing. And again, I've said wait and be patient when there's earnings, but, you know, like today was such a good day there for Tesla, both sides. So lots of huge opportunity there. And it is PL1, like I told you there, for the floor. So a big congratulations to anybody out there that's having similar success today with the name, and a big shout out, like I said, to everybody behind us that continues to, push it on Tesla. So, I mean, congratulations. I've been talking about, trading these momentum names, these high flyer names now for, 2-3 years. And I'm glad that there's many traders, including many of us around here, that are switching over and trading a lot of these big names. So it really, has been quite the journey. And for me, it really means something to be able to see those numbers back there. So I salute all the traders behind us, because as Sharif said, man, it's all about community. And if we can get a good community here and positive vibes, like obviously we're doing, and that meant a lot to me when Sharif mentioned that to me the other day. Good vibes, Katina. I like that nickname, probably the best one. And that's what we're doing. And so for me, forget about what I'm doing over here. I'm happy for everybody behind us, and I'm happy for everybody that's found us, because this is what drives the show. So the passion, the trading, and then hopefully the success that we can all have together. So congratulations to everybody.
Yeah, what I love about what's going on with the floor is I don't look at, I'm not worried about what the other P&L at the time, but I can almost bet that 165 break, just knowing that's a strategy and a style of trade that's been around some time. And I know you put it on when you have the extra oomph. So like trading around earnings on those names has been the thing. Like you wait for the big catalyst, you wait for earnings to come in here. That's been a big thing on this. And I know day trading is different from swing trading. Swing traders are all about earnings all the time, but day traders look for very specific names that give you that gusto and give you that juice. I'm just gonna do some order canceling here, because I've said this before, like if I like shorts into 170 and it goes to 68 and pulls back into VWAP, then if it breaks that high, it's not the same trade. Like that pullback can have already happened. And so if it does make a break, I want to let it get into that price and then make a determination. At the open, the first time through, I'll sit in front of the level the first time through. The second time through, if it gets there, it's making another higher high and probably higher low in that situation. And I don't just want to sit out on the offer of Tesla if it goes to that price. It doesn't mean I don't still like it. It just means I'm going to adjust the way we go about it. We're going to get into crypto update, but we were just talking about Mara potentially like maybe the 21 break. And on that flush, Mara's right back at the low of the day. What is going on, Nadera? Tell us what's happening with crypto.
We're going to look at Bitcoin in just a minute, but quickly, an interesting story coming out here last night with regards to the mining space, and it's coming from Block SQ. So Jack Dorsey's payments company basically saying they're going to be building their own Bitcoin mining system. They initially were starting designing mining chips. Now they're actually looking to build a full system, working through the design with a leading global semi-founder company. They have not said what semiconductor foundry they're working with, but it is apparently a bigger name. So interesting look there with regards to Block potentially moving into that mining space. So definitely miners could be on watch with regards to that. Bitcoin itself, though, on its second day in a row to the downside. Yesterday, we did see some trading above that 66,000 level. Right now, we're just barely clinging on to 65,000. Ethereum also a little bit weaker here, just above that 3,200 level. And the rest of these crypto-related names also going to be pretty weak here across the board. Ripple and Dogecoin both down about 3%. Cardano down about 6% here. Shiba Inu down about 5%. So generally pretty weak. And we do want to take the moment to thank our sponsors at Kalshi.
All right, we'll get to that in a second. He did take another piece out there of Tesla at 164. So again, it's $4 in the money. I'm going to take another. Hey, Charlie, you want me to spin it? Let's go. I mean, we're going to spin this over and over and over again for everybody out there, man. Every single person. Shout out to Dan. Look what's happening to Google. Spin it for Google longs. I mean, what exactly world are we living in when this is what's happening? Look at the damage. $4 now and change. Yo, Max, let me in, my guy. The Lambo is good right here. All right, so here we go. It's a nice move to the downside right now for Tesla. Google's nicely cooking to the upside right now, but there goes Tesla down to 163.50. So I canceled my 163.50 to get out at 164, but we're still in this, baby. Nice push down into 162 would be nice. I'm going to hold out for this yeah, man, today, once again, guys, another big day. Props it up to those of you that are looking at some of these names. I know you want to blow the cow out. Okay, we'll do that right there. There it is for you right now, coming through. That is for you, Ozan, as we go. But nice move to the downside here for sure in what has been a wild day. That's just downside in the market. Google trying to hold out hope. There's Tesla. Our one losing stock of the day is Apple. And when you're looking at a stock like this and we lose on this, I mean, that's cool. Like a whole bunch of nice plays, and then out the last piece gives us that L. But honestly, I'm fine with taking that one on this level. So Apple, just small little L. And again, you know, do your own risk management as we continue to talk about it. There it is, man. Thanks, Jay Walker. We are locked in. We've been locked in for a minute. I want to thank everybody for watching. We're having the best. We won't be P&L after today, number one, but we were having a big month, and it's my best in a long time. And I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Adara over at the desk for all that she's doing. Let's throw it back.
This part of the show brought to you by Kalshi. Have you ever wanted to trade in events that directly relate to companies and the economy? Kalshi is the first legal financial exchange in the US where you can bet on any event. Ever wondered if TikTok will be banned, how many cars Tesla will ship this quarter, or what a new movie's Rotten Tomatoes score will be? Now you can use Kalshi to put your predictions to the test and trade on what you really know. Visit kalshi.com/tradertv to sign up today and grab a $20 bonus after depositing $50 exclusively for the first 500 people using promo code TraderTV. It's easy to get started. Choose an event, like whether Boeing will have a new CEO this year, currently priced at 76%. Buy 100 shares at 76 cents each, and if Boeing announces a new CEO by the end of the year, you cash out $100 on your $76 bet. Don't just watch the news, profit from it. Join Kalshi's 100,000 users and dive into diverse markets, make your moves, and potentially profit from global events.
Thank you, Derek. Here, obviously, we like to make bets on events. In this case, the market trying to break to the downside. I'm going to show you Nvidia just wicked underneath VWAP. If this can't hold it, oh boy. Like if this was a big comeback for Nvidia, if it cannot hold on to VWAP, I want the reload in. I talked about ARM already in the 100 level. It's not getting to VWAP again. If Nvidia makes that curl, then I got to short it underneath 100. You got to adjust your plan sometimes based on what the market is giving you. Rivian touched underneath 9. I got some fills down there, and now it wants to hunt back in for this 910, so I'll go back into the lower high as we're mostly, like the market's still in the pocket, putting in a higher low, so I want to respect it. I just don't have a lot of longs that I like. Juan just said, oh, we forgot about Uber.
Oh, right. I was going short on that.
Yeah.
What is it doing?
No, we were mentioning, because remember the robo-taxi, Uber down because of, it's down 4%.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you know,
right.
It is what it is.
Of 70. Oh,
It is what it is. Like, yeah, that one broke down. The short to 71.
I mean, here
obviously,
we are.
right at the open, it was a good fade there. But hopefully, you got that one.
Yeah, good call.
There. It's a good call. 65,000 just went on Bitcoin.
Yeah, we're now $5
as it's
in the
getting
money.
nasty to the downside for BTC. I was gonna look for that trade where it was like a false break, but I'd have to dedicate a level 2 specifically to that, and I want to make sure I get this ARM trade instead.
All right, guys, we are. Okay. All right. What did I just? That's hilarious. Okay, Tesla. So just looking at this, dropping into 162. I was just reading an email. Dropping into 162 now. Right there, 162. Oh, at 162.20. All right, Boeing's earning call is on. So let's have a quick look to see what is happening there. We talked about this play yesterday down there. Wow, okay. I mean, Tesla, I might just take a piece out there. It's starting to go a little bit back up. There's Boeing. We talked about yesterday, 168 bottom. Difficult to trade that off today, but I think yesterday it was pretty good. let this settle down. I'm just sort of calling it okay. I'm just kind of calling it up right now. Come on, Tesla. Maybe we'll buy another dip down here at 162. That's not horrible to do that if we're able to. Like I said, we're printing on Tesla right now. It's a big stock. It's like P&L won by 10 times, so, or 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, depending on where we get out. All right, let's just see what happens now with Boeing. So I just was bringing it to everyone's attention because the call's on. I don't necessarily have a trade, nor do I really want one when this is going on, because like we said, at any point, anything can come out, and next thing you know, your trade is squashed. So I'm gonna put a bid down here. Again, this is why when you take a few more shares, you're able to sort of level it out like this. Obviously, we got way too much out here at 166, but when we held this against ourselves and it came screaming back, we got out. But the best part about earnings is gives you many opportunities to get in and get out. So one more time, like if I were to say that I could have this day on Tesla at 1040, I'd take it. So let's see if we can get one more greedy spot here and get a piece out at 162.20. If we can get that, then we'll be, happy as a pig in mud. Sometimes it's a pig in something else, but let's go over and see what Adara has, maybe something on Boeing or something.
I do have something on Boeing. Not seeing too many headlines popping up from this call, but I did just see we got a bit of a move down here, but we did recover on that last 3-minute candle. Boeing saying that they're expecting to be keeping the independent contractors they have overseeing some of their safety issues for several years. So they're expecting to extend or keep these contracts they have for people overseeing the safety and quality control related measures with regards to the 737 MAX. So we'll have to see how the market reacts to that, but that is the main headline I've seen coming out of this conference call so far for BA, guys.
Okay.
I guess no comments yet on SPR and that potential deal. Would have expected something there. Disappointing that there's not anything moving forward with that, but who knows? The call's ongoing. They just started at 10:30. That's what I'd be looking for. If there's any headwinds about that, SPR, very quickly, let's finish the thought completely. SPR is in a very, very tight range here. All it would take is, like, it's been pulling back when the deals, they might not. If there's anything positive with that wind, you could see a real spike in the stock. So it is worth watching. We talk about secondary plays all the time. I'm not going to look at HKD Taxi Driver. I'll take your word for it, but I will go on over to DJT. We've been neglecting it, but it's starting to bounce back up. I didn't want to short the bottoms on DJT. It's back above VWAP. There's your 32.5. It presses into that range. Like I said, we paid 11 cents per share for locates on this. Above 32 is where I want to fade back into yesterday afternoon highs. Let's get on over to Adara, who's giving you stories at the desk and dropping Sector Watch over at the big screen.
Sorry, I didn't know. Bit of a mixed look, as it often is during earnings season for a lot of these sectors. A lot of them reacting to specifics, earnings-related news. In fact, key here is going to be the transportation sector, very much to the downside as a group. Uber could be moving this group to the downside after Tesla announced their ride-hailing app. So this could be moving UBER to the downside along with the rest of the sector here. Retail trade, some weakness. Finance, some weakness as well. Health technology, pretty weak across this board. Here also worth noting quite a few health-related names reporting tomorrow before the open. AstraZeneca and Merck among them. So definitely a sector to keep an eye on heading into tomorrow's earnings. Also, we have this technology sector here, very strong across the board amidst positive momentum. We had the Texas Instrument earnings and also some positive news with regards to Nvidia also getting a mention in Tesla's earnings. So these tech sectors and health very much on watch as we head into the rest of these earnings, guys.
Wow, Lily's tanking.
I mean, we are going to be now officially trading many earnings plays. It's funny how your strategy switches from trying to ignore these things into now just being in love with them after one day. But we're just I'm kind of playing around a little bit. You got to trade what's been working out for you. We have all kinds of tools in our toolbox. I love playing breakouts. I love playing support and resistance levels. I mean, that's why on the sticky note we write down multiple styles every single day, and we talk about our trades with confidence, and I think that's the one thing that I think you have to have. Like, that's why we're 2 for 3 today. We went back over to Google. We actually missed the very bottom of this, and surprised because we had talked about it there, and then I kind of left it again. And then finally I went back over and bought this name just before the pop there. Now we're kind of relaxing on this trade. We've only out of 60%. Let's see if this one wants to go higher. I mean, the market is going lower here, and Google continues to go higher. We just took 5. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you guys can see the trades. We literally do them live here for you. And I mean, you can't see, but like that was a stressful potential situation there to the upside. So sometimes you can get, waxed on that. And like we say, fortune favors the bold. And if you're in this game here and you're just picking away at it, think about how much money you actually have to make a day in order to make a living. So that's, after you've been doing this for 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, you got to think, is it realistic that, and especially around here, in a prop firm, you get a percentage of what you make. So you have to think, if in and around here, minimum wage is $16 or something like that per hour, and you're going to sit in front of the market for 7 hours, you're going to need to make at least $200 on your net in order for it to be worth you sitting here. And that's not even earning a decent living wage. So when you look down and you can never hit some of those levels, and you've been here for a minute, you have to think about like, what strategies potentially can I adapt to and figure that out. And so like I was saying to you guys, that's really been the key. If Neil and I have to be able to figure it out, we're literally sitting here every single day talking to you guys. But again, it's putting in the reps and being able to find something that you're confident in doing and then going with that. So that's where I feel like, going into real trading, again, an awesome opportunity. Therefore, if you're not confident and you want to trade small amount of shares, especially if you're in your first couple months of trading, that's cool. And then that will let you ramp yourself up. So once you actually realize that you can or can't make money, you'll be able to walk away from here because it's a prop floor, or be able to level yourself up. And I think that if you're able to, definitely go over to Real Trading right now. Figure out if you're eligible, get involved, and join the group behind us for sure. So big shout out to Matt, who was here yesterday. Anyways, that's what we're doing. And I mean, I just am really, really happy, obviously with today, but I've been happy for a lot of times lately. So, your mood doesn't matter about necessarily your P&L. What really to me matters is that we nailed it. And then the support from Pat and Ty and Neil and everybody, I mean, that's what it's all about. To get acknowledged that, yeah, this is what we're doing, and we do have these levels posted for everybody. I mean, that's the good stuff. So thank you for watching again, guys, and let's just get back to some trading with 15 minutes left.
Yeah, 15 minutes to go. Shout out to, thank you, Donnie Zimbabwe, here. With actually a good note. We appreciate you have ideas as well, which is great. Nvidia back to 840 today. Thoughts, similar movement up yesterday. Breakout at 11 o'clock. So sometimes history will repeat itself. Other times it'll rhyme. This is clearly what you mean. It was more like, I have 1018. I mean, it's adjacent to 11 o'clock, but it was a lot earlier when I see this breakout. Consolidation, then break higher. It took out 815 to the upside. It's a great looking setup. It's not, I would say it's not quite the same thing. The difference being you were making higher lows into the breakout yesterday. Right now, you have higher lows and lower highs. Like, it's more of a wedge pattern than it is like clearly a bullish pattern to the upside on Nvidia. So like, it doesn't mean it can't break out, but it seems a little bit different. If it breaks 840, clearly that would be bullish. I like 850 for resistance, so I think you have room either way. I think either direction you got some room. It looks a little bit strong. My concern will be Intel, which I just got back at the 5s. If it takes out the high, we're going to get out of it. You're like, why that level? Zoom out. So why do I like it here in front of the quarters? Because this is a stair step down. Like, since we broke 34.6, where we're short the last 2 days, since we broke that, we're short to here. If it takes out this when the market's at the lows, Intel to me turns into a long trade, which has room to get into 35, 30, 35 half, maybe 35.75. Nick Dub says long Moderna. Moderna rejected the living you-know-what out of that top. We said 115 would be if it could break 115, it had some room to go. but now you're catching a bit of a falling knife on Moderna. It was an AI story for them, and you're diddling right in the middle with 100 support and 115 resistance, and it's at 107.5. I guess the math is fun on that one if you happen to like that trade. You know, it is what it is. I don't know. I don't like Moderna here in the middle. That story, I think it said the right things, but the market's telling you it might be a little bit of a nothing burger there for Moderna. We like ARM. It's all about looking to short underneath that 100 level. So I got to be patient. It's at 99. I got the 100 area marked off. We get above like 99.5, and then I'll be all good. You know, I just don't want to be jumping too far away from the strategy with ARM. We took our one shot and it worked. I got to be patient looking for the next one in there. That's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah, that is exactly what it's all about. Yesterday, ARM was a great trade as well. Like, go back to the well, man, over and over again. Good job on that one, Neil. So nice to definitely see that. So, oh, no, my wife. Shout out to Ramin. I don't know if you are a Kylie Jenner fan, but her and Timothy Chalamet apparently are pregnant, apparently. So there you go. So we'll find out. What? Breaking trades and breaking social media rumors. All right. I'm gonna have to talk to Kylie about that. What do you mean? What is happening? Yeah, Dara's flipping out. Hey, man, we're just providing content for everybody. You know, I mean,
I'm not going to pretend I care about that, but
I don't even know who Timothy Chalamet is.
I
don't.
Look, I love Dune, so that's how I know him because he's
Dune. Yeah, we talked about that.
He's the main
before.
character in Dune.
Yeah.
But outside of that,
I mean, do you know anything else?
No, look, I know he's in other stuff.
Right, but you don't know
I
what it
just
is.
don't know what it is.
Exactly.
Like I'll cop to that.
Yeah, of course. Oh, I don't care about it either. I'm just telling you, like.
I'm trying to think. I probably, if I think long and hard enough, I probably could remember.
Right, but the idea is you can't right now. So that's the whole point. Is that Dune in real life? Yeah, I don't know what that means, but yeah, that'd be cool. Okay, so. With only 10 minutes left, we are going to talk a little bit about the dollar coming in a minute. So I'll leave that to Adara. I did want to look at another short that we had talked about earlier, Meta. Wow, we really like that level up there at 510. We wrote down 512. We had just missed it. I actually put 508 in there when we had this move back up, or 507 using that 508 right there. So that would have been something there. And now we're back down barcoding in and around 495. But you know what? The day is still young, and we're in a $6 winner off of the top. It means a lot. I saw all of you in the chat. Some of you had your biggest P&L trade of the year off that trade for Tesla. So congratulations to all of you, man. We'll be on the podium today, but we ain't going to be number one, baby. But we are really happy, and I'm happy for that, actually. Well, I mean, we always want to, make as much as possible, but I'm happy with our P&L, and I'm even more happy for some of them behind us back there. So let's go back over to the desk and speak with Miss Adara and see what's going on with Money Talks.
Upside after 3 days of weakness here for the DXY. We got some economic data earlier today. Core durable goods month over month, slightly lower than expected, 0.2% versus 0.3% expected. Durables, excluding defense for these core durable goods, coming in higher than the previous number here, 2.3% versus 1.5% expected. And durable good orders month over month also higher than expected here, 2.6% versus 2.5% expected. That is all the major economic data we're going to be getting today. We do have a 5-year note auction coming up at 1 p.m. to keep an eye on. And also, of course, tomorrow morning, we do have that GDP number. So definitely something to watch out for. Our quarterly GDP print. We also have on Friday the PCE data. So more of this, the story is going to be what's coming up this week. But we did have these numbers today to keep an eye on, guys.
Thanks, Adara. Snap Geo was really curious about Mara. We did go over Mara, but
1450.
Yeah, we'll go over it again. I mean, we actually held 65,000 on Bitcoin, so I would. Look, it looks like it's going to be a bit of a fade play here. Like you see the pattern, a false breakout into a lower high, which is breaking down, usually a VWAP setup. But with Bitcoin's bouncing off 65,000, I think you'll let that play out and look for some kind of a curl here. On the daily, it still looks absolutely. I mean, the long looks okay. maybe you could dip back into the 200, maybe you could dip back into 17. It does feel like it's due for a pullback day, and if Bitcoin gets back under 65,000, I think it sees lows again. But the short looks way better when Bitcoin was failing underneath 65,000. I think it looks right now. There was a note on Spirit Airlines in the call, and it was that they are working on issues with the deal. They're still in contact with Spirit Airlines, but they're working through some issues with the deal. That headline throws out any notion for me of a breakout of this consolidation on Spirit Airlines. So it was an idea that if they said something positive, anything positive, I wanted to break out on Spirit, because I think you had like maybe a deal floor underneath it, but that doesn't look like it's going to happen for Spirit, unfortunately. So it is what it is. You can't take the trades that aren't necessarily there, but I was listening specifically for anything on that Spirit deal, thinking that anything positive would have got you a huge run. Look, Meta is absolutely tanking. I got Rivian, which is pressing that 910. If it breaks it, I'm out. I got Intel, which is working back in, even though I didn't get the refills up here in the teens. It ends up curling at 14 and 13, and I was sitting there looking for 15s to 18s. Back at VWAP, if it fails VWAP, I should have bids at 85 like I was before, and then we'll go rinsing and repeating on that. And we haven't really looked at anything but Meta when it comes to this TikTok news, but I think that's a good thing, because if you responded to that headline looking for a long, Snapchat at the low of the day, down to $11. The mistake that I made the other day, hopefully there's an opportunity here to sort of rectify. Looked at an 11 long, did not take it off of the actual support at 1090. If this breaks $11, holds 1090, that would be a nice little scalp trade where you can get it at 11, risk it to 10, and then see if it can't get back into the upside. But trading off the even dollar level was a huge mistake the other day, and I'm not trying to do that twice. ARM doesn't want to let me back in, unfortunately. So I might have to, like, again, you always try to make the adjustments. These pops are getting a little bit more shallow, and if this flat bottom breaks and I'm not in it through 98, then I'm going to hate myself. So I'm going to take a shot off 99 here. There's something again on TikTok.
All right. Yeah, just Biden is signing that bill.
Oh, we already knew that.
So, yeah, we may try to go long there, so we can watch out. So they are going to have to divest. So somebody will come in and buy them. I think Meta probably will, or Google, or somebody.
They won't let Meta.
New trade alert. They won't let anybody. Probably. We'll see. Well, they can't sign it and not let, but it's a different organization. So
I just think Meta, for the politics, they won't let them.
Yeah.
If they sign
right.
it, they got to let somebody. But
$4.95.
I just don't think they
wow.
let Meta do it.
All right, we've sold some Meta anyways in our own account, so we're fine with where that's going if it goes lower. New trade, by the way, we are now $6. $6. I don't know if we've hit this once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. And it's not like, oh my God, I cannot believe we have this trade. I mean, we just put this out right now that we had, first of all, there it is. That's hurtful. My bad. We had it early. There it was there. And then here it is, us having it late. So there's the sticky note. There it is to the downside. There's the 168. Climbed up, climbed down. That's real trading. Go find real trading right now. And you'll be able to do that wherever you can. Instagram. I don't know about TikTok, but I got TikTok in my mind. We'll props it up. But the thing is, right now we've got what's for lunch. Today it's a very, very simple lunch, and it's one of the least written down amount of words to describe the lunch today. It is quite simple. If my son was here, there would be none of these left. It is chicken fingers and fries, so I'm gonna go bang. I think that's a decent lunch. So there you go. I'm always downplaying when these guys bring lasagna and stuff like that. Finally, a lunchtime kind of meal, but that's pretty good. So hopefully we'll see about those chicken fingers and fries. But yesterday we were in heaven because we had tuna on the salad. We'll see if we can do that again. Interested to know why you're not shorting Nvidia? I mean, for me, everybody, hey, we're still here doing what we've got. The market and Tesla trying to go to the downside. So I'm in a $6 winner right now. And I told you, I don't have one chip name written on here. We're going to go 2 for 3 today. And I promise you, I will look at these names during the midday and talk about some bangers throughout. Follow us on more Trader TV Live as well, where you'll be able to see all of our positions as well. TikTok says they're going to keep fighting that ban. So we'll see what happens right now. But Here we go. Google fading off a little bit. So it doesn't seem to have too much love for any of these companies because, as you had mentioned, a lot of this is baked in.
Yeah. The only reason not short Nvidia, well, there's two reasons. One, the price I wanted it short, I said you watched the morning show back again, I thought this was a fade off the 850 level. It never got there. And then the name that set up best was ARM. And it's that simple. If Nvidia gets into like the high 840s, I probably get that short. I don't think there's any question about it. It just didn't happen. And then ARM failed 103, so we did have a short trade on ARM. It just comes down to finding something that you can execute on. And we had something in ARM and we didn't get anything in Nvidia. AMD, I think that's a similar story. If it sets up, we'll trade AMD. Well, I'll look back. I mean, I liked ARM, and obviously ARM worked out, but I actually had a resistance level marked off on AMD. Maybe I was too laser focused. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would have put this one in last week. So, yeah, AMD actually did set up. That's me a couple there. ARM was fine, and it probably the same kind of a move, but at the end of the day, AMD did get into resistance as well. But NVIDIA, it's just about setting up. My risk to reward is not gonna, like I'm not taking a trade short 839, 840 into 852 on NVIDIA. It's just not quite gonna make, it's not gonna make any sense because it has to go too far to get to 1-to-1 and 2-to-1. You'd be like leveraged into that one pretty deep. So if it got a little bit higher, it would have been nice. It's almost 11 o'clock. We're gonna be back. Obviously, we're always back at 2 o'clock. We'll drop a lesson of the day, and it's gonna be another good lesson in the midday. But last thing before we get out of here, we didn't really get to talk. We didn't even talk too much about this. But earnings for Tesla, obviously, Tesla's up like 12% at one point. It's tanking right now. I mean, we still have Meta after the bell. We still have Google this week. So we're not even done. Like we're at the this was the first of the big earnings on the week. You still have even more to come, right?
I mean,
it's only Wednesday. It's only Wednesday.
Yeah, like I said, PL number one. Congratulations, everybody behind us, dropping that cash on Tesla. So again, yeah, like Neil just said, man, we're going to be trading earnings. We're going to be trading them a lot. But if you want to learn about strategies, let's go over to the midday right now. Thank you for watching. I don't have any more bids on Tesla till 158. Let's go over to Adara and Sharif. Ciao all.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as the Midday Show. That right there is your girl, Adara, and I am Sharif, and we're going to wait, as we typically do, for all the other viewers to migrate on over from the other stream. We already have a couple of early birds. We got the Darwin, the Fat Figga, as well as the Crazy Stitch Lady. Welcome all. Great lesson for you guys today. We're talking about bull flags all week. Today, we'll be talking about a confirmation style trade. So I hope you guys can hang out with us here. Hi to both of you, says Sebastian. What's up, JC Finance, Red, Easy Trader. We got Charan, Tej, JF Trader, Stock Up, as well as Dude Rocks 420. I like that name, my man. Peter Panda, we got Bala Nambid, we got Joshua Walker, Pillsbury, Big, Michael Lloyd, Naps, as well as Mom Pulsive and Cairo. Ronaldo as well in the house. Daniel Melendez. We got the Piper. We got the Gauntlet, baby. A lot of people are joining us. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with Adara and I. Good morning, Adara.
Good morning. How are you this fine morning?
It goes all right. It goes all right. Looking at a couple of things over here. We'll get to all that in a minute, but anything that you're looking at while I set up the read?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I have had my eye on, although it looks like it's breaking down, I take a look and then it decides to not cooperate, but that's okay, that's cool. Well, I'm looking at NVDL, but NVIDIA, this is interesting. Kind of, speaking of flags, this isn't a perfect like bear flag or anything, but we had this move down, then we had this chop and turn. I was willing to play this range from 34 to 30. What is this, 3360? Looks like it could be breaking down, though, below this 90 MA. In that case, I don't have a read right now on anything, but that was kind of my big look. As usual, if anybody sees any ranges lurking in the abyss of the markets that they want to point out, of course, let me know. But I'm going to take a look at Mara because I've been looking at a lot of these crypto-related names as of late, so let's see how Mara. Okay, this I actually really like on Mara. We had this bounce there earlier at 9:30. This is where we opened. We spring to the upside. Look at where we just had that sharp, fierce rejection with a very bearish wick to the upside here. 1915. Mara gets a spot in the side chart for that and that alone. So there you go, Mara. Congratulations. Bye-bye, Ford. We can't afford to have Ford on my side chart when we could have Mara, but we also could have an ad read.
Yes. Have you ever wanted to trade on events that directly relate to companies and the economy? Kalshi is the first legal financial exchange in the U.S. where you can bet on any event. Ever wondered if TikTok will be banned, how many cars Tesla will ship this quarter, or what a new movie's Rotten Tomatoes score will be? Now you can use Kalshi to put your predictions to the test and trade on what you really know. Visit kalshi.com/tradertv to sign up today and grab a $20 bonus after depositing $50 exclusively for the first 500 people using the promo code TraderTV. It's easy to get started. Choose an event like whether Boeing will have a new CEO this year, currently priced at 76%, by the way. Buy 100 shares at 76 cents each, and Boeing has announced a new CEO by the end of the year. You cash out $100 on your $76 bet. Don't just watch the news, profit from it. Join Kalshi's 100,000 users and dive into the diverse markets, make your moves, and potentially profit from global events. Shout out to the good folks there at Kalshi. Okay, so that was interesting there. So let's have a look now at some of these markets because, well, look, let's be quite real with it. Things that typically go up are going down, and things that typically go down are going up. Here's what I mean by that. The dead one, AKA AAPL, on a move up today. Really no news other than the fact that, we have this May 7th event or something like that that's going to announce a new iPad. I'm personally not that excited about it, but anyway, Apple up 0.2%. The chart on Apple looking better than all the other charts combined. That is if you're a bull. If you're a bear, you're probably salivating at Meta, Amazon, and even here, MSFT. It had a big topping tail candle into 412.5. We'll get to Softy in a second. The soft one here having forming a bit of a base here at 408 3/4 or that 409. How many bottoming tail candles and lower highs are we going to accumulate here on Softy? So I'm going to keep my eyes on that possible trade to be had here, whether a bounce or a flat bottom break. But Apple quite strong here to the high side, retaking that 168. This dip off the volume weighted average price was absolute money. I'll show you my trade in a second on this one. Took this bad boy short a couple of times and then just noticed, these topping tail candles are not what I thought they were. I thought I had charted yesterday 168.30 to 168.50 in my overnight charting as a key area of resistance on Apple, and it did come to fruition. However, there was no continuation to the downside. VWAP said, this is as low as we're going to go, and it looks like we're curling right back up there to test those highs again at that $1/3 of a dollar. We're on our way, it looks like, to a $1/5 of a dollar here on AAPL. So I'm going to look for Apple here on possible dip trades long. I will be looking short Amazon. I will be looking possibly short here Meta. Not exactly sure how I'm going to trade Tesla or Google or Nvidia for that matter, but we'll keep eyes on these bad boys as the day goes on. Yeah, there are the couple of shorts that I had here on AAPL, but I got to tell you, I kept leaving my desk. The level that I really wanted was that 168.25, and it did come in twice. So both these times I was late to the party and definitely was not able to profit off it as I wanted to. So keeping my eye on these ones, and we'll also talk about some small gappers that are making moves today, Dara.
Yeah, that is what we do. We will always so many things to look at in these markets. I already have an order waiting here. Shout out to the Stitch Lady pointing out, actually got involved, so sweet. So the Stitch Lady pointing out this range in AT&T. I'm starting to get involved early because I don't want to miss it. I like what I'm seeing here. I like that there's a couple levels I like in this. For one, look at this 50, this kind of base we had here at 1654. Chop and turn, then we fall to the downside. Look where we reject on that wick. Same area. If we break into 1655, I'm going to be out of this trade. But if not, I'm building a position and I'm not adding any more. I have the amount of shares I want. This pop up, I don't love, but there's not a lot of volume accompanying it. And I think this is still an interesting level. That's why I wanted to kind of build the position and then wait to see how everything will unfold and occur. We're going to start taking profits here at 40s. If we get there, 40, 41, then saving pieces for dreams. I have enough for I think at least 2 beak wetters, maybe a third. We're gonna have to see how I portion everything out there, how I dole out the shares. It's like, you get a share, you get a share. I feel like
I love it.
But we're gonna have to see how this goes. I'm happy with this trade right now. Thank you to the Stitch Lady for pointing that one out.
I like it. All right, let's get to the lesson du jour today. We are talking about breakout trading using a bull flag. Today, though, we're going to talk about it, the breakout with the confirmation. So we're going to double check, the bull flag's charge, or so to speak. So the bull flag beckons with a potential price surge, but wouldn't you feel safer if you had some reassurances? I know I would. The breakout with confirmation strategy addresses this by adding an extra layer of security before entering a long position in a bull flag pattern. Let's talk about that. As we typically do, we're just going to define what a bull flag is in case you are a newer trader and joining us for the first time today. Imagine a bull about to charge but pauses to gather its strength. This pause is reflected in on the chart as a bull flag pattern. So the way that it looks is you move up and then you move sideways. The sideways part of the bull flag pattern, that's the bull catching its breath, getting ready for another charge, okay? It forms after a price increase, followed, as I explained, by a period of sideways consolidation within a defined range. So that sideways movement after that big move up typically has a general area top and a general area bottom that you try to exploit, because that's how we get in. And here is the basics of it. As I said, there is the pull. So you have that big price action move up here on BTC. Wow, this was at 41,000. So that was either earlier, late last year or sometime in 2021, it looks like. But anyway, you get that big move up, and then you have a period of sideways consolidation. Usually it's either tilting down or up or compresses. So usually you get a parallelogram like this one to the downside or the upside. Generally, though, they do respect the trend lines that you draw to the top and bottom. It's not a hard and fast rule. But this is the breakout area. So when you talk about the continuation of the bull flag, you're looking for the breakout from the top trend line. So that's what we're talking about there. So breakouts, they're exciting, but they're also really risky. A standard breakout buy involves entering a long position when the price decisively breaks above the upper trend line of a flag, as I just showed. While exciting, breakouts can often be risky. Sometimes prices might tease a breakout, but then fall back. That's what we call a fake out breakout. And here's a great example of it. Look at this. So you have a nice bull flag, and shout out to Adair for putting these pictures in as well. You have a nice bull flag. You have the lower highs, the lower lows in that consolidation area, and then you get a break of the upper trend line. Alas, it was a fake out breakout, because then you got huadunkt. And if you're new here, huadunkt means you went down. And then that's a nice way of saying it. And then all the way down you go, and you basically retrace all the way to the breakout area of the initial bull flag itself. This is what we call a fake out breakout. So confirmation, adding security to the trade. So the confirmation strategy involves waiting for an additional signal after the initial breakout to validate the upward move. Here are some common confirmation techniques. Look for bullish candlestick pattern. Look for bullish candlestick patterns forming after the breakout. So once you've broken out from that top trend line, is there some sort of pattern there, candlestick pattern I'm talking about, that shows you a bullish signal? For example, a bullish engulfing, a hammer candle that formed above there, things of that nature. These patterns suggest strong buying pressure behind the price move and give you that nice added check mark next to the list there for confirmation. You should also be looking for increased volume. Ensure the breakout is accompanied by significant increase in trading volume. This confirms the buying interest and reduces the chances of a fake out. I'm not saying that if the breakout doesn't happen with above average volume, that is automatically, a fake out, but it helps add that other layer of security to be accompanied with good volume. And the price retest, this is so important. And John J. Murphy talks a lot about this in his books, Technical Analysis of the Financial Markets. He often talks about retesting that area of resistance that was broken to prove to you that the buyers are going to step up in that area. So here's what I mean. So over here, when you had the actual breakout of the bull flag on the top trend line over here, what he would like typically is for the price to get away from it a little bit, come back down, retest that same trend line, and hold up at that area before continuing north again. The reason is he wants to ensure that the same buying pressure that led to the breakout is still there and that same interest continues. So look for a price retest, very important as a confirmatory indicator as well. And here is a graphic showing the volume trends and candlesticks to look for in bull flag breakouts. So you have that big move up, that period of consolidation where the volume drops off. The period of consolidation should have lower volume in general than the upward move, which is the pull. And then what you're looking for is once you break out from that upper trend line, it should be accompanied yet again by above average volume. And the area that you can compare to is the consolidation area. Does the breakout above the upper trend line have more volume than did the candles during the consolidation? So keep that in mind when you are looking for confirmation. And beyond the basics, let's talk about how to add another layer of security. So missed opportunities, waiting for the confirmation can lead to missed trades if the price moves quickly after the breakout. That is part and parcel of trading. If you're going to employ this strategy, typically you will have some missed opportunities. Multiple confirmation is also really important. While one confirmation is good, multiple confirmations, for example, a bullish pattern and increased volume, can provide even stronger validation. So look out for as many confirmatory indicators as you can. And always have a stop loss. And I'm going to keep saying this every time. I don't care. Even with confirmation, even with a lot of check marks next to its name, the market can be quite unpredictable. Always use a stop loss order in order to limit your potential losses. And if you're joining late, if you do miss the initial breakout of the bull flag and still want to get involved, do your best to avoid FOMO. Wait until you see a sign of continuation like clear support, higher highs, higher lows before you jump in. And here's a little bonus tip, guys. Consider the time frame of your trade. For shorter term trades, a single confirmation might suffice. However, for longer term trades, whether you're trading on the daily, the 4 hour, whatever, you might want to look for more confirmation, multiple confirmatory indicators rather than just one like you would accept on an intraday trade.
Yeah, you want to always make sure that you have all of everything ready for your trades, especially in a breakout or breakdown, because they're not always going to come to fruition how you want them to. And I'm going to mention Nvidia. Shout out to KC, who I guess was also looking at this flag. This is a bear flag, but I still want to point it out here. So this Nvidia bear flag, right, it wasn't like perfect, mind you. It was kind of, I'll switch to see if it's clearer in a 10-minute perhaps. Yeah, so still pretty hard to read, but you did have, again, not perfect, but you did have that kind of move here, right? Then we test a little bit below, come back up, and then we fall further to the downside, right? So the thing is, too, is you don't always know, A, how it's going to necessarily manifest, and B, when it's going to hit. So, yeah, that was definitely, I missed the ball on that. But, yeah, nice look overall. And I think one thing, too, is if you want to get involved at, let's say, the bottom of a bull flag or the top of a bear flag, you kind of have to be a little bit more gutsy with it. It's really going to depend on the type of style that you want, which I think was key as well when you mentioned confirmation.
Absolutely.
So just wanted to put that out there. Also, I'm in this Tesla short, and I am pleased as punch. Right now, not feeling much stressful. We're giving this 5 pennies of risk. That's 670 area right below VWAP, also an earlier area of resistance, and that little wick there. So we're risking up to 670. I have 2 beak wetters. We're going to get out the bulk of this position at 657, so we're trying to make about 8 pennies there as part of that position. I'm okay with that risk reward. Then saving pieces for dreams, which are going to be around 650. We'll have to see if we get that. Right now, though, I am going to be getting out of AT&T. I think let's just see how that's going, because I did want to see, I probably got involved in this position too early, maybe a little bit overzealous. I want to see what we did here at the bottom of this area, but we had that little bit of rejection with the viciousness, so I'm going to stay involved for now. I want to see us test this a couple times before I get out. I'm okay with the size of the position I have. We're not too much out of the money here because I like where I entered. I just could have probably gotten a better point of entry had I decided to wait and just get involved actually at 50s instead of building my way up to it. But we're going to have to see on that. Right now, though, happy with how Tesla is going thus far. Basically flat, but happy I just took the initiative to get involved in the first place. Also, I am watching NVDL to see if we break down any further here. NVDL. This chop and churn here around this 33 area, which on NVDA, its older sister, is going to be around this 820. Yeah, 820. I like this. I really like this. And initially, I was going to be looking for 33.50, 33.15. I don't know if I'm going to get that. And I don't know if I want to have that while I'm involved in 2 other trades. But I think if I do some, dealing with my positions, making some room in my heart and my charts for NVDL, I think I'd be interested in
I like that.
I might miss this breakdown, but I also don't want to have more chickens than I can count. You know what I mean? That was a weird analogy, but I want to make sure I have all my trades in a row, my ducks in a row. How are you doing?
I just want to know who hurt Meta. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Is it okay? I mean, I don't know, Katina Man. The TikTok tailwind, I guess it was a sell the news event. The Katina Man was looking for the short earlier on Meta. I mean, it was kind of, sure, we knew that TikTok bill was coming, and well, it was kind of, I don't know. It seems like a sell the news event on the day. I mean, I know the market is down, but we were at 512 in the pre, almost at 512 in the pre, and now we're talking about a 490 break on Meta. 490.65 LOD right now on META. So keep your eye on this one. The retracements into the 10 period have paid off. There haven't been many. Let's be real about it. It's been quite distant from the 10 period as it is right now. The 10 period's hanging out above 494. We're printing 490 something. So in order for it to retrace to the 10 period, it's got to retrace a few bucks. So Meta awfully weak, and so is the Amazonian. Oh, and the Amazonian is back. The old one, the Kanobe, is back from vacation, baby. Looking tanned as always. Beautiful look there. But yeah, 177 coming in right now on AMZN. A bit of a hammer candle forming here. Not like I've really charted 177 as any significant level of support. I did chart 180 as either an area of support or resistance on Amazon yesterday, and I took a trade on the sim this morning on it, trying to collect better data without incurring big losses. And so I took a short on this monster earlier, and it ended up paying off. So I'll talk more about these new charting, the evening charting sessions that I've been doing here. This is basically it. And we're charting all this data over here, and then we're coming in the morning, we're putting dip trades on the sim to see whether they strike or what the situation is. And then after a couple of months, we're going to collect our data and see what the situation is, whether it's profitable, and then maybe we'll try employing the same methodology in live trading. Right. Anyway, so Amazon 177 right now, holding for the moment. We'll see if it continues down. Apple looks like it's in a bit of a range trade here. So I'm going to get to the small caps in a second, but Apple had a nice big move up off that 166.90 close yesterday, reclaiming 170 and basically ranging a little bit here, a little bit below 168, a little bit above it. So we'll see if we can figure out some sort of range play here on Apple. But what I want to talk about are some of these small cap gappers. There was quite a few this morning. Some of them carryovers from yesterday. I'm talking about you, CZOO. I'm talking about you, MTC. They're both carryovers from yesterday and both doing quite well, both up into the high teens. CZOO 19.75%. This was tradable when I put it on my chart over here. It has since broken down below the volume weighted average price at around $11.50. No longer tradable until it does reclaim that level. MTC. This one was also a carryover from yesterday. You'll see that big bull flag that we put in there at around 10 o'clock. This one really making its move after the bell. But all these topping tail candles into $3, setting up a possible short. If you're able to get shorts on MTC, I would put something around maybe 295 with maybe a 305 stop. Anyway, it's putting in higher lows. So if you're long inclined and can't get your hands on the shorts, the 50 period here has been an interesting area of retracement. Right now, the 50 period is overlapping with the $half area at 250. This could be an interesting area to get a dip trade. So we'll keep eyes on MTC. The other one I keep my eyes on, this is the biggest mover of the day, but let's be real about it. It's not doing any volume, and it goes by CSSEP, Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Oh.
Hold on. Weren't these books or something
They
like
were
that?
books, yeah.
They were. I'm like, I knew these things growing up, man.
Yeah, we read them.
This thing is still alive? All right, well, it's up 100% today, so who can discourage it? It's done about less than 100,000, less than a million shares, 922,000 shares. It's an 88 penny stock. That's not going to cut it, obviously. So quite frankly, it's not tradable for me. The one that is tradable, though, Ram, is this one over here, MULN, Mullen back in the game. So this one's trading nicely here after that $2.75 close yesterday. Breaks up to 393 HOD at the moment, knocking the door 4. It does seem to find its footing for whatever reason at the $0.50. So the retracements into 350 have been bought up 5 times here on the 5-minute chart. All these 5-minute candles coming into that 350 area and getting bought up. So if you're looking for a possible dip trade, 350 could be an interesting area, though. We do have what looks to be something like a double top at 395. What's up?
I just saw that range and I got really excited. I'm going to have to put Mullen on my side chart.
All right. It's making the side chart. What are you looking at there? I saw a couple of fist bumps while I was talking.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very mild fist bump, and I think it's still probably going to be looking the same direction. But this AT&T, initially I did like it because we did have this rejection of that area earlier. We had some chop and churn that 1652. Then we get to 1652, and that's when I did the fist pump. We did a little bit of a move to the downside from there. Now it looks like we might be bouncing off this 90 MA. Also, we did have this double bottom when I stepped back and looked at it earlier. So this could be a bullish look, but I have no reason to leave yet, so I am staying in. I just want to put that out there. I am cognizant of what this could mean, but right now, just based on how I structured the trade, I'm not going to leave yet. Also, Tesla. I'm smiling because my little Tesla is making to the bottom here. We're about a couple pennies away here from my profit taker. So please just punch about that. Looking for the bottom of that little range here earlier. So 657 will be a profit taking goal. If we struggle here, I'll get out 660s. I have no problem taking 6 pennies and then saving pieces for dreams. You know what? We are going to take out some of this position here. Let's do this. So that's going to be, and we're still going to save a piece for the dream here at 57s. I have no qualms about that. But also, and I was waxing poetic yesterday about that very stressful trade that I had with a firm where it was going really well, but I wasn't decisive enough and I wasn't scalpy enough, and it went badly. So it's like, with that in mind, Adara, adhere to your trading style. And your trading style is intense range scalps. So I'm not going to do that type of trading. You know what I mean? I think that's going to kind of what's going to get me down, I think, and at least for me, especially going live, I need to really adhere to what works best for me. So TSLL, this scalp, we still have 1/3 of our position left, so I'm okay holding that right now. AT&T, we're still gonna have to wait and see there on AT&T, and yes, that rhyme was sort of intentional because I don't have any reason to leave, but we're gonna have to wait and see if I have reasons to stay. And wow, that sounded like it was out of a bad romance movie or rom-com. Also, BOF, some people were mentioning, I believe as well in the chat. This one, Branch Foods. I want to make sure I have Branch Out Foods. There we go. This one trading higher. It's getting its 3rd contract with the nation's largest retailer. What retailer is this? Not saying what retailer this is, but $8 million contract there. Nice bounce off VWAP here for BOF. This one is a small cap. We are seeing kind of higher lows here, but also slightly lower highs. So this could be.
Do you not want to say, or do they not say?
They're not saying.
Oh, you got me all excited here. I was like, yo, I need to know immediately.
Yeah, that would be very odd if I was like, oh, here's the news.
No, I was like,
oh,
Dara.
Yeah.
Jeez, okay.
No, they didn't tell us. No, that's okay. What happened, yeah.
All right, guys, I'll tell you the truth. I don't have a trade yet. I am looking for a trade. I just saw Google bounce off pivots here. I like this area on Google. There seems to be something afoot with this 157.50 and this 158.25 because it's rinsing and repeating here. So interesting look right now on goggles, down 0.3%. Like, the market gave up everything. I think we were well over a percentage point on the NQ, and now we're only up 1/4. We're red on everything else. The ES is down 1/5. The Dow is down 0.4. The Russell's almost down 2/3. So things are turning around here. Google's holding up a little bit better than most. I would say Apple, obviously, a little bit better than most as well. There does seem to be a bit of support as well out on Tesla at around 161 for whatever reason. Not exactly sure. It's trading below VWAP. VWAP at 163. That gives you about $2 worth of room between the bottom end of the range here and the volume weighted average price. So another possible look there on Tesla. You know, this was the trade that I wanted to get into, but it wouldn't have given me much here. This would have been 20 penny winner so far right now, which is on Google. Let's flip to the small cappers. Yeah, Mullen is going, man. Mullen, new high a day now, $3.98. It's really knocking on the door of $4. It's at highs as we speak. I mean, I'm not personally going to take any sort of breakout trade on this. The trade I would have liked on Mullen is a 350 dip, but we're like well above that. There goes $4 on Mullen. 405 now HOD on MULN. Is there a headline on this thing, or is it just Tesla? Yeah, let's maybe one came in. Let's find out. I scoured. All right, let's find out. Yeah, you know, I'm not inclined to think that there is, just because, you know, Tesla as a whole. Here it is. This is the 23rd, so that was yesterday. So nothing today for MULN. This came in yesterday. No, so nothing really here to concern ourselves with. Anyway, $4 break right now, 405 HOD. We're at 399, so we're still fighting to stay above $4. The volume is solid on Mullen, though. Let's be real about it. 8 million shares done on, no, more than that. So yeah, 8.1 million shares done on the day. So good luck. Keep my eyes out there. Let me have a look, see here. Okay, so we're getting a lot of topping tail candles into 168 on Apple, all of which seem to be selling off. I mean, look at the closing prints on Apple. The great majority of them are south of 168. It's just about, can you hang long enough to deal with these wicks? Because sometimes they're as deep as 30 pennies, as shallow as 3. So you don't really know where it's going to top off here. Yeah, interesting. I don't have any trades right now. What are you looking at?
Yeah, okay, also, thank you, Hurt Scramble, for putting this in the chat. I saw this. This I saw it came in on Monday, but Mullen's high energy facility marking phase 1 completion of the battery pack assembly mount.
Nice.
I think I mentioned that in the live as well. But yeah, that came out on Monday, so it could be delayed reaction to that as well. But thank you for bringing that to our attention and reminding me about that headline. I am in 2 trades right now. We're still in AT&T, but there's really nothing to AT and talk about in that one right now. Still basically flat on that, waiting to see a little bit of a move. Lower NVDL, though. I'm really proud of this. I know I said earlier I liked this exact level, this 33.15 on NVDL, and then I didn't take it because I didn't want to have to manage so many trades. I stand by not taking it, honestly, because I wouldn't have had really an area to get out. This isn't really my type of trade like that, the low of daybreak at the time, right? So I'm happy I waited, because then we come in again and I watch it reject and I say, Dara, this is your opportunity. This is the moment. So I got involved, making it sound a lot more anticlimactic given the amount of shares I have. It's not really that exciting, but I was happy I took the trade. Also, then we had this, in my opinion, super bearish candle on its big sister, NVDA, and look at where the candle rejects that earlier base around 826, right? I like this. I don't like this bullish candle following it, mind you, but we're going to have to see. I'm giving this about 15 pennies, trying to make minimum 25. So again, like I said earlier, I think, and someone asked this in a chat, maybe a super chat a couple weeks ago as well, but like, how do you choose risk reward ratios? I think it really depends on the person. Mine are not like any kind of 1 to 2, 1 to 3. Mine are usually some odd fraction, and as long as I'm risking less than I'm trying to make, I'm okay with it. So just for context, for my very bizarrely, deciphered risk reward ratios, that's the deal there. Also, yes, AT&T falling a little bit there, so please just punch about that. Basically flat in NVDL, going to stop babysitting this for the time being. Boeing, long or short, says Anunchai. So let's, sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Let's take a look at Boeing and see where that's going. Again, not advice, but I mean, we can take a look at the chart and see if it's whispering to us. This is, okay, so I want to take a look at this and just kind of step back and say everything I'm seeing. So we do have, since the open, we've had lower highs and lower lows. We're kind of curling though a little bit. I see what you mean. We have a little bit of a pause here right below that 169 level. Boeing trying to curl back up here. What I'll say is I would like to see, if we do curl back up, I want to see what we do at 170.50. That was definitely a support area earlier. We had a very bullish candle backing that up and putting the money where the mouth is, or the candlestick, I guess, where its mouth is. I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is, I think if we do curl back up, I would love to see what we do at 170.50. Until we break above that 170.50, I would say it generally looks like it's heading to the downside. But again, this is just one person's analysis. Take it with a grain of salt, if you will. I am a very new trader. But I do love charts, and to me, this chart is to me going to look like continued downward movement until we break above that 170.50. So yeah, still basically flat in NVDL. I might scalp out of this what is this, AT&T a little bit earlier because we got near my point of entry and then we bounced back. So we're going to have to probably change some outs here. Like I said, I have room for 3 beak wetters, but I might not necessarily use all 3. I'll take profit earlier if I need to because I definitely need to be scalpier heading into this wild Wednesday. How are you?
Apple right back into that 168.20, the higher end of the range. I'm short the future right now on the TQQQs for a possible debt. Well, I don't want to call it a dead cat bounce, but I'm looking here for some weakness to come in. We'll see exactly what we get. I'll play the range here on Apple as well. I'll give myself to 20s or thereabouts. Look, Apple is putting higher lows. But I think we range here for a bit, especially if the future doesn't really start popping. We'll see. We'll try a couple of trades here, one on Apple, one on the future to play the range. You're getting some decent retracements both on Meta and Amazon into the 10 period. I was talking about possibly shorting those bad boys into the 10 period, but we're going to have to pack our patience because they're not quite there yet. Well, at least Meta isn't. It looks like Amazon is. Apple is breaking into that 20-cent area. So, I mean, look, we've been at these levels before on Apple. The high of the day is 30. So we'll have to pack our patience a little bit with this one and see if we get stopped out. Let's go ahead and put the stop in over here. And we'll give it to, yeah, that's what we'll do there, and we'll see exactly what we get. Let's look at some other small, what's top VOPI saying? Have a look at VRT as a short here. Okay, that's interesting. Let's have a look at VRT. Let me just quickly look at my positions here. What am I doing here? Where's my TQQQs? Okay, so we're not bad. We're okay. So let's look at VRT. Let's bring in the side chart over here. And look at that bad boy, VRT. So it'll take a second to load. What is this? Veritev Holdings, $33 billion market cap. Do we have a headline on it today? Hit record high after the company raises full year profit forecast, up 14%. Geez Louise. Okay, so let's have a look at the 5 here to see what we did. Okay, so we really got going there in the pre. It looks as if that's when earnings got released at around 5.55, maybe 5 to 6 or so. We've been selling off since that time, which is interesting. So we're kind of giving up the ghost on this move. Nice move up in the pre to like 90, almost 96 bucks. And then we're coming back down here. So maybe 86. I mean, I don't really have an exact level on this. Not the one that I had an opportunity to chart either. Let's have a look at the 15 on this. So where are our levels? So from the level, okay, so now we're holding up at the 50 on the 15. This could be an interesting area of support actually, because we got a couple of bounces off the 50 already. So the 50 is hanging out at that $86.50 area. We're printing 86.79s. I'll keep this up on the side. Maybe something happens with it. And yeah, we'll see. I'll leave this one on the side.
Yeah, I'm going to mention HPQ. Thank you so much to the Stitch Lady and Sebastian bringing this one up. So basically what happened here is traders are circulating an unconfirmed rumor. I want to clarify, unconfirmed rumor that Greenlight has a very large new position in the company and calling it the future of AI and massively undervalued. Again, not something that has been confirmed, but I want to say looking at the analysis of the chart, something I'm noticing. So what I've noticed is what we'll kind of do on this HP, on this move to the upside. A, pretty strong volume across the board from when we had this breakout. B, look at how we'll kind of have this rest here. We'll pull back, and then we'll have like a new move up to wherever the previous candle was in the 5 minutes. So we have a move down here. Look at this wick at 28.15. Look where the next candle closes, 28.15. With that in mind, if we see a close around 28.30 and I have strong volume, I might get involved in this because again, this is a really odd indicator to use, but I'm just looking at how we're kind of seeing these wicks and then where the next candle closes as potentially something to look at. Mind you, this could, completely just be an odd thing I'm noticing on a chart. So I'm going to take this with like a scintilla of concern, but it's just one thing I think is interesting on this chart. If I see any more confirmation from that, I will let you know. But thank you guys in the chat for pointing that one out. Let's look at the daily at HP as well to see, or HPQ, sorry, to see what else is shaking. So this is a level we've kind of been at around a couple times. It's 27.50 that we bounced back up from. It's a nice little move up here for HPQ, but generally kind of lower highs, lower lows for this name going back to March. And also what's interesting is that level we fell from in mid-March, that 31 has definitely been an area we've struggled to break above for the last little bit. So I really would be deeply curious to see what HPQ does there. I'm going to check where their earnings are to see what's coming up next. HPQ, so the estimate is June 4th. They have not confirmed. Also, 3 hours ago, they announced a title partnership with Ferrari. So I guess that's something as well, but it definitely looks like that move up there is on the rumor of that green light investment. So we'll keep that in mind there. Thank you guys for bringing that up in the chat. mRNA, says Ollie. And yeah, I can totally take a look. Let's see. This one's always in the NQ, and I remember because I always think it should be in the NY, and it isn't. So now I've started to reverse engineer my brain for that. mRNA down about... Ooh, okay, this one sold off with a swiftness, so that's a little bit unfortunate. We had this very, very topping tail candle here at this 1255. Yeah, sorry, this 112.55 level coming into 840. Lower highs, lower lows. Now we're coming into that interesting base we touched twice earlier, that 108.20. So I'm really going to want to see what we do here. To me, that might be a level of interest. But we've had slightly higher highs, higher lows here starting at 11.05. We did have some positive AI-related news from Moderna. So we're going to have to wait and see what we do here. But yeah, mRNA right now looking nice. Like I said, though, I think what we do here at that previous support, 108.25, because support can become resistance, could be spicy. Ollie, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Not seeing any message there.
No.
Thank you very much for your support for the show. Oh yeah, that was with Moderna. Okay, perfect. So I did get to look at Moderna there. So hopefully that Moderna read helps. Thank you very much for your support for the show.
I got stopped at Apple because it just printed a new high of day, 168.40. Apple's going here, guys, and doesn't feel like the entire market is, even though we're a couple of pennies out of the money right now on the TQQQ short, and now we just got stopped out. So it does look like the market is headed up here. I'm seeing a big move here on Apple as well as Tesla, but not much else, to be quite honest. So you're seeing dead money right now on Meta as well as Amazon, and not much happening in the way of Nvidia as well. But Google is finding that nice base at, for whatever reason, at 157 2/3, making it right back up into 158. I'll be looking to short at Google at maybe 158 1/4. We'll try to play that range, see if it continues to range on the day. But Apple just awfully strong here, 0.89%. Look, if Apple makes its way into 170, I'm going to short it with size, because this has been below 170 for a while. So here's the daily look on Apple. And yeah, we keep using 170 once we broke it as a level of resistance rather than support. And there was that outlying day, obviously, that we got the AI news on Apple, and then we just sold below 170 again. So we're a little away from it at the moment. I mean, we got to get up another $1.50, and I don't know if that's really going to happen here on AAPL, but yeah, not much of a read for me today quite yet. I've tried to play the ranges on a couple of these names, all without fruition. I have a short hanging up here on NVDL at $33.33 to play this range on Nvidia. So if this can come back into that key area of support earlier, this was the close, 824.24. Or thereabouts. We closed there yesterday. We use it as a level of support earlier, break down below it. Now we're kind of using it as a level of resistance. So a deeper retracement into that area maybe takes me into 33.33 on NVDL. But it looks like it might be curling down here again without me. So it looks like I was a little too early to the short party, at least on the future, because now you've got Meta and Amazon curling right back down again. And Apple's coming down off those highs. So interesting look here. I don't feel like I have a great read on this market quite yet. So I'm just going to stay put for now. And if that 158 1/4 comes in on Google, that's really the only other short other than the NVDL short I'll be looking for there.
Yeah, I'm in that NVDL short for now. I said, and I like that you mentioned that 30s level, because that's what I'm also looking at NVDL.
Yeah.
They're at 33.30s. If we break above that decisively, I am out of the trade, but we haven't, so I'm still in, basically flat on this guy, ready for her to continue to head to the downside. I am noticing that we did have a slightly higher low, or sorry, slightly higher high for me here on the 5 minutes, so I'm going to be very cognizant of what we do. Ideally, I'm going to be looking for what we do at 32.90s. If we break a little bit lower, I'll stay, but I'm totally comfortable with 90s. I do not mind taking that with what I was risking here for my NVDL, risking about 15 pennies, comfortable making about 20.25. That is a risk-reward ratio that I am okay with. Also, I want to look at some of these Bitcoin names. Someone was mentioning Mara range to me earlier, and I do see it. I just think my timing on it has not been great, but we have slightly higher highs, higher lows here, nice base around 1880. So that's a level I'm definitely going to be checking out as we kind of get near the bottom of this range there. CLSK also doing a pretty similar thing, but instead of higher highs, higher lows, we have lower highs, lower lows. So CLSK and Mara a little bit reverse of each other, which I think is kind of interesting, or inverse, I guess. NVDL, let's hopefully make this an NVDW if you want to get like a little bit lower. There you go. I'm just coaxing the stock, motivating her for success. I'm we're doing some motivational speaking, motivational life coaching here for this NVDL. Okay, I like this bounce at 93s. We're going to get out here. That's a level that I think I'm comfortable with leaving at if we're able to get filled. There we go. Please just punch. NVDL. Could have stayed a little bit longer. We did dip a bit lower, but I've learned from the Affirm disaster from yesterday that you just got to take your profits and run sometimes.
That's what I did right now, but I took it too quickly. Dang it.
Oh.
Yes, Tesla VWAP rejection, took that 163 short. We went our beak there on some profits into the 40s, but alas, it continues to go. $1 drop in a few seconds there on Tesla off the volume weighted average price rejection. Saw that quick, punched in, and yeah, didn't take enough profits. And dang it, oh, come on, Fuge. Come on, Fuge. So yeah, this is me getting shaken out here. So I had the right idea, just, got pushed out of this trade. Should have given it a little bit more room, but that's the way it is. The Fuge, down it goes. 17,625 and a quarter. Big move down right now on the Fuge to make a new low, and you're seeing everything print to the downside, not just Tesla. I'm talking about Amazon that just broke support level 2 on the pivots. I'm talking about Meta that's at support level 2 right now on pivots, and Nvidia all the way down. Shout out to Adair for that NVDL trade. Won a hell of a trade there. I'm still looking at 157 2/3 on goggles because that has been a fixed range trade. It was fixed in the pre. Then we had the IB high and low with excessive volume. Then once the volume kind of got reined in, the range reestablished itself. So I want to see, is Google going to hold this 157 1/3 or thereabouts? If it does, I'll be looking to play the range there. But everything to the downside right now, Apple included. 168 here on Apple. Now we cleared 168 by 42 pennies. Do we now use it as support? Question asked and answered. There goes 168. But on a closing basis, not yet. We're going to have to wait a few more minutes for the 5-minute candle to close. But this observation could be important. Every single dip on Apple today has bounced off the 20-period moving average. Every single print north of that IB high at 935 has bounced off the 20-period. So should we be playing the 20-period? And in case you're wondering, the 20-period is the solid yellow line on my chart. So we'll see exactly what we get here right now on 168 on Apple. But if history is to be any guide, this 20-period will hold up. So maybe a dip trade into 167.90. Speaking out loud, not making suggestions. We'll see what we get. But what a dump here on the Fuge. And the NQ is barely, and I mean barely, holding on positive. And the NQ just went into yesterday's close and bounced off. There's a bit of a hammer candle forming here. 17,610 now, LOD on the NQ. The closing print from yesterday is 17,607. So 3 points, Katina, man, below the current low of day. Down goes the Fuge.
Yeah, I mean, also I like how you asked like Apple, like, oh, we're gonna hold this level, and then Apple immediately answered your question. Like, she's respecting you. I think she's maybe over you calling her the dead one.
I would have been okay with it giving me some profits other than respecting my level. I got to tell you the truth. You know, I personally would have been.
I mean, you're still allowed to be like upset. Like, she's by no means perfect. No, we're just joking. We're going off on a run here. I'm really hesitant to go long in anything right now, but I also, I want to see what happens here with these markets. I kind of like this IBIT short, and you know what? Why not take a bit and IBIT? I just want to make sure I like my levels. Okay, I'm okay with that. So we're gonna get in 89s, small position, see what happens here. Also, some people were asking if they're seeing any news in the market. I have not seen anything. Shout out to Paul Godson, though, saying that Reddit is talking about potentially it being caused by some geopolitical tensions. If I see anything on that, I will let you guys know, but I haven't seen anything. But thank you to Paul Godson for letting us know what you're seeing. Or Goodson? Sorry, Paul Goodson. Pardon?
Not more geopolitical tensions.
We do not need...
I don't need more.
Yeah, we don't need any more. Stan O saying, you don't need news, look at the chart. So yeah, I mean, I think the chart's certainly saying something right now. We also have some people mentioning BTC, Jameson here mentioning BTC, so I'm gonna I have my IBIT open right now, and I mean, yeah, it's certainly taking a move to the downside here. Let me just get my trading view open so I can look at BTC. Isn't this frustrating when you're 1 cent away from report of entry? But I mean, like, in a way, it's kind of nice. It's like, oh, you had the right idea, but it's like you were saying, I'd rather not just have the right level, I'd rather it also give me what I want.
Well, Apple's, it was nice. It heard what I said. We took a nice little trade there on Apple for a 20-penny winner, super quick. Look for that 168 defend, Katina man. What's going on there? Want to update us? The Katina man took $300 in 10 minutes. I'm kidding, bro. Come on. Yeah, tongue in cheek. The Katina man just took $3 in 10 minutes on.
I wanted Darren to tell me
where his short was on Tesla.
Oh,
where was his short on Tesla?
Okay.
I have a guess, but he asked you, so you go.
I also have a guess. It's going to be 163.04.
Hold on. What exactly was it, though?
My price right now is 162.48.
Okay.
But
the entry.
Yeah, so I took one at 162.40 and another one at
162.70. I mean, the VWAP is there. Basically, the Katina man was taking the VWAP rejection on Stressla. So I basically have to echo that trade with the Katina man. We took the exact same trade there with him. He obviously printed quite a bit more because we got out of this one way too soon. But 163 comes in on TSLA, and there it goes again. Keep your eye on 158 1/3. That is the IB low that we printed this morning before we jettisoned up into 167.97, essentially 168 high of day right now on TSLA. There goes Apple right back into the high of day. So yet again, we take a trade and we don't hold it for long enough into the high of day, 168.42. It looks as if 168, which was a previous area of resistance on AAPL, now looking to act as a level of support. That is, well, at least for now, so we'll keep an eye on that. By the way, I want to repeat this again, but for whatever reason, and I don't care why, the 20 period on the 5 is where the dip trades on Apple are being bought up. You can see that that has been the case for the better part of an hour. This candle here at 10:45 dipped into the 20 period and it bounced right off and made a hammer-looking candle. Subsequent candles all retraced into the 20 period, all of which were bought up as well. Do with that what you may, but I just wanted to point that out. Oh, Dara.
I like when you throw it like that. I like it. Also, yeah, so IBIT, we're about 7 to 8 pennies in the money on this, and I say that because we're fluctuating on my IBIT. But let's talk about BTC, because if people were asking, let's look at BTC. Yeah, I mean, look at that massive. We had that move down, and BTC prints its largest volume candle on the day by a mile on the 5-minute, continuing to move to the downside, but seeing a little bit of a pause here at this 64.719 level, which is also interesting because look where we had these failed wicks to the downside earlier. 64.719. So let's wait and see what occurs there. And in case you're trading IBIT, like I am, that level is going to be about 36.90, which is why that's where I got short. I would love to see IBIT make this beautiful move back down into 36.70s. Right now, we bounced a little bit off that 36.80. If I need to scalp, we all know I will. I will scalp, I will run, and I will scalp. So Scalp season always for me. Scalp season never ends. It's 24/7. But we're going to have to wait and see because I do not like this little wick here showing that we could have a little bit more of a move to the downside. But then again, I think sometimes patience does work out. So if you see one thing on the chart that's a little bit concerning, make sure you wait for your levels to come in. That's why I'm really happy I stayed in this MVDL, even though, and I think I said this as well on the show, we did that slightly higher high here that made me a skosh nervous. But we didn't get into 30s. I wanted to see 33.30s break into with the viciousness. We didn't get there, so I didn't have a reason to leave. So I'm happy I stayed. And I think the one thing I'm learning, patience is a virtue. Now, with that in mind, will I still scalp out of things earlier if they're in the money? Oh, heck yeah. But I'm not going to leave a trade early if I don't have any reason to until my levels hit, if that makes sense, right? So I think I just wanted to kind of explain that. With that in mind, I'm still in AT&T because I don't have a reason to leave. We're just waiting for this to continue to the downside, decidedly below the 90 MA. How is the trip on Bear Island going? Oh, Sean just pressed the button there, so I guess the shorts are going well.
Everything is tanking, Adara. That's for the exception of Apple, really. Apple is just on the way up. Another high a day since I last reported now, 168.57 to the high side. But I am seeing a hammer candle come in here on Meta. And it's coming in at an interesting area of support level 2 on pivots. Now, you don't want to put too much stock into one candle for sure. But right now, let's keep an eye on this because right now we got an aggressive dip into 486 2/3, and we just got bought up $2 in one 1-minute candle right there, right back into 488 2/3. So this is looking like it's going to close as a hammer candle, but Meta has rejected off every retracement into the 10 period, and that's where I want to get in initially, but we missed that trade. The soft one has been absolutely tanking today. All right, I don't know. What's that? It's tanking hard right now, though, Neil says. Yeah, he's absolutely accurate on that. Yeah, the soft one has been in a full state of tank, and you can kind of get the idea of how aggressively it's selling off based upon the current price action's distance away from the 10 period. So you'll see here, we kind of hugged the 10 period for the majority of the morning when we were selling off. Now the distance is really starting to open up here between us and the 10 period. The 10 period's at 408 1/4. We're printing 407s 1/4 right now. So big move down for Softy today right now. And it's not like down aggressively on the day. Realistically speaking, we're only down 0.08%. But the fact of the matter is the chart pattern is looking awfully bearish right now in the exact same way that the chart pattern on Apple is looking awfully bullish, okay? So I've got a couple of things that I want to do here. I've got eyes on Meta because this hammer candle is really interesting me on the 5. Let's see how it closes. That's number 1. Number 2, I've set up a dip trade here on goggles at 157 2/3 to play the range. We'll see how that one ends up playing out. And my order on NVDL at that area at 333.33 is still there in case it does make that retracement. I don't know if that level is valid anymore currently, but we'll revisit that. Tesla just bounced off 160. So there is a range possibly here being established on the Cybertruck with 163 basically to the high side and 160 or thereabouts to the low side. Now you're going to get the wicks that may stop you out, so you need to account for that if you're going to play these ranges. But look at this. Remove this big move up here in Tesla at 10 o'clock. Just remove that one for a little bit. Now you've got the pre-market or the IB high there in the pre-market as well. 163 seems to be the top with 160 being the bottom. That holds true from the pre as well as the after the bell, Adair. So I'm going to send it to you because I need to set up a trade.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, thank you, Jay Lee, for the comment on the NVDL short. Yeah, I think for me, I just really liked that level. For whatever reason, I didn't want to FOMO into it when I missed it the first time. So I said, Adara, if it comes back in, you have to get in. You only got one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes more than once in a lifetime if you're trading. But in that case, I already missed it once, so I had to take it where I did. Also, IBIT, I'm trying to get out of this at 80s. I did not like that one IBIT. I did not like that one bit when we had that little bullish candle. I was like, nah, cut it off at 80s. I'll take 10 pennies. And this didn't really go against me, so I don't feel like I risked too much either. You know what I mean? We got in at 89s. Now we're just kind of waiting.
Bang.
There we go. Please, this punch. Thank you for that. AT&T, I just thanked a stock. Okay. That's cool. Thank you, IBIT. Much appreciated. Also, There was, we had Mahmoud asking what's your view on Tesla short if it breaks the low of the day or via low of daybreak. So I have to be honest with you, this is not the type of, I just want to preface everything I say with this. This is not a type of trade I would ever take because it's not what I'm comfortable with, right? So take that in mind with everything I'm about to say to you. Like I said, I don't really like low of day trades. That being said, if we have that rejection off that 161 and then we break low, to me that could be spicy. But also, for myself as a trader, I would not be playing it that way. I'd be taking 161 to about 160s. Now, with all of those caveats, these probably unnecessary caveats out of the way, let's look at the short case for TSLA. Lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Lower low, lower low. But we're also holding the pseudo double bottom here at this 116. To me, that's the biggest case for potentially staying to the upside. I think we're going to really have to see what we do at 161 because that was certainly a level earlier that I think could come back into play. And it was a level that I ended up taking my short at, I believe, as well, that 161, but the equivalent on Tesla, which was about 660. So I think we're really going to have to see what's happening. We are below that 9 EMA, which is ironically also around 661. So I think there's certainly a lot of mixed signals happening in this Tesla. We're going to have to see if they're able to steer this in the right direction here. But I think either way, there could be some opportunities to play this 161 getting spicy. But I'm going to be really honest with you, Mahmoud, not sure in what direction. But I see a fist pump.
Yeah, there it is, 20 pennies on Tesla. So we take that bad boy right back up again to defend that level. But I think that there's probably going to be a lot more there. I think the 160 holds, to be quite honest with you. That's just my opinion. Do with it what you may. There it goes into the $0.50. Again, is Tesla. Nice move up. But Apple is the real deal today. Okay, so I was kind of joking when I said I'm going to take 170 short on Apple. But we could see 170. I mean, it's not beyond the realm of possibility. We're about to see 169 maybe soon here. Where's my Apple screen? Let's go, brah. We may see 169 soon here. I'm not going to take anything off 169. That's not the play. The play is 170 for me. And I think this is one of those ones where size may be warranted here. Being on the show or not, I think I like that level, especially for, let's call a spade, man. Apple's weak, right? It's down. What is it down on the year now? 12.5%. And after today's bump up, it's down 12.5% still. So, yeah, it wouldn't be such a risky trade to, yeah. So I'm just talking to myself here about that. Okay, so it looks like I'm long goggles right now as goggles came right back down into my entry area. Where's my Google screen? There it is. So let's see what we get here. I'm going to send it to you, Adara, while I put in my stops.
Yeah, let's do it. I wish I had a trade to talk about, but AT&T is just AT and trucking. I have nothing to say about it, honestly. But I'll show you guys how it's going. I'm looking, again, continuously for the bottom of that range. Now, initially it was weird. This could be a little bit bullish, and shout out to a couple people in the chat mentioning that one as well. I think you could play it either way, but I'm trying to play the range. If we do end up getting a higher low here, especially with that double bottom, I don't mind taking it out where it is. We're a couple pennies in the money here in this position. But I also want to say I'm proud of myself for staying on this because I didn't have a reason to leave. So even though we did have that move up, I said, Adara, we haven't broken above that pretty massive support resistance area at 53s, 54s. So just stay in and breathe. And so in this case, please just punch that I ended up doing that. Oh, I think this might be my first please just punch of the day. But yeah, so we're going to have to wait and see here. This market, honestly, is not giving me a super clear signal as of right now, so we're going to have to wait to see if there's anything I feel comfortable with. I'm always eyeing the TQs. If we have another kind of rejection, I like previous support and resistance, as I'm always waxing poetic about. And shout out to you, though, for teaching me about the support resistance thing. Like, looking at previous highs, like higher highs, higher lows, for outs and ins and stuff. That's been really helpful.
But I really wish somebody had taught me when I first started. Can't tell you how many slippers wouldn't have been thrown, mirrors wouldn't have been broken. I'm kidding with the mirrors, obviously. I don't want to jinx myself.
When you talk about, like, I like how that's why you wouldn't do it.
No, but I did. Yeah, no, I don't want to.
You don't want to jinx yourself.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Like, we're traders. We're so superstitious. You know what I mean? All right, nice move back up for goggles right now. We're going to wet our beak here on some profits as this one continues true to the range here on Google. So initially, I started off not reading these markets all that well. But I'm starting to feel myself a little bit here as we're getting a couple of nice trades on our belt. So I'm displeased and upset about being shaken out of the future, especially since I had the right idea. But alas, what is the next trade, as the OB, the one, the Knob always says. So we're nicely in the money on this bad boy, about 20 pennies here on goggles. Let's see if it can make it into the volume weighted average price. VWAP on my charts hanging out just a smidge above 158, 158.05 or thereabouts. I'll be looking to wet my beak prior to that whole dollar area coming in if we make it up there. Again, underline if we make it up there. Now, I want to mention something. This is why you don't put too much stock into one 5-minute candle. I was yapping about this great looking hammer candle that formed on Meta at a key area of support that is support level 2 on the pivots, and it was doing that right there. So I said, okay, let me see what the next candle brings subsequent to this candle here at 1150. The 1155 candle closed more bearish than the previous candle there at 1140. So don't put, too much stock into one candle or one piece of analysis there, as that hammer candle ended up meaning bupkis, and we continued to head down to print new lows. 486 now, and I'm not talking about the 90s computer, low on the day right now on META. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
I really don't.
Oh, well, Neil, I know you know. Okay, I know you know, because we're from the same generation, my man. I know you were on 486s. Were you playing Wolfenstein? I love it. I guessed it. Yes, Wolfenstein. Shout out to the Neil, and shout out to Goggles for heading to the high side. That's another little dub there. Adair, please, this punch.
Yeah, you didn't have to Google search for...
Doom was good. But hold on, Wolfenstein was the original. Doom came after that. Doom was better. I agree with you. I agree. I like the guns in Doom better.
Oh.
First-person shooter.
That's such a specific critique. I like the big Buck Hunter game at the arcades.
And there was an awesome game, it never really caught on, called Heretic. And this guy, like, I guess he was a heretic, you know.
Yeah,
a little
that
bit
was the game?
That was called Heretic. It was a first-person shooter mode.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
you just go around shooting zombies, you know, quite simple. Right, pick up money and guns and ammunition wherever you can find it. Yeah.
What a game.
No ram. No ram.
Ramin could be a stand-up, I swear.
Ram's killing me, bro.
He's always killing it.
Duke Nukem says Odyssey Fights. That was my favorite, okay? So Duke 3D, that was by far my favorite. Yes, that was the OG game. But before that, obviously, came Wolfenstein, came Doom, Doom 2. There was a whole bunch of first-person shooter there for us old heads.
Yeah, interesting stuff there for sure. Yeah, congrats on that Google long. You didn't have to search for a profit taker on that one.
Sharif saw the moon landing. Bruh. Come on, man. I'm from the age of the space shuttle. Come on. Like, I was born when the space shuttle was around. Give me some credit here, man. I'm not that old.
Challenger?
Yeah, I know. You just had to throw that on there, huh?
I didn't mean it like that.
Because it's from the 80s, right? So remember, are you talking about the one that blew up?
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean
I think that was 86.
86, yeah.
That was
well, no, because they
86,
did the
yeah.
Punky Brewster episode on it, yeah. But, which was really weird when you think about that for like more than 1 second. But yeah, so also this futures here, oh, look at these TQs. I was like, maybe we're gonna go short, and the TQs were like, please don't, Adara. Moving to the upside, nice little volume candle here. Let's look at their big sister, the Qs. Yeah, the Qs, nice move back in volume. And honestly, if you look at this, look at the volume in the green candles compared to the red for the last 30 minutes. The green candles absolutely outpassing the red in terms of this volume. So I think the volume is taking a little bit of a bullish tilt, at least here on these markets. So thank you. I want to really shout out to Kyle Burdett in the chat for pointing out, like, looking at volume on the futures before you trade some of these stocks. So that's been hugely helpful to me. So I don't know if you're in the chat, but shout out to you, big Kyle Burdett. I tried. But yeah, so there we go. Also, I want to say too, I did get out of AT&T because it was just not the place for me to be. I could tell we were going to break up that high. Took a couple pennies there. Lost a couple pennies there. But I was like, you know what, Adara, would you rather just get out here when you're already seeing that higher low, or do you want to lose even more when you can tell this is just more of a bullish trend? So that's what I ended up using. I ended up scalping out for a slight loss, but that's okay. We're up on the day, and our spirits are very much elevated. I've just been really enjoying
Adara, I just need to cover Apple.
Please do.
Apple is flying to the high side. I didn't see this happen. I just looked over to the Katina man. I'm like, did you see Apple? We were joking. I was kind of half joking when I said I'd short 170 on Apple. I didn't think it was going to make it up there. We were in the 167s when I said this. 169.28 HOD. Obviously, it's retracing a little bit now. Let's see if it holds 169. That's number one. Number two, does it make its way to 170? I know there's going to be a lot of people looking at that 170 short. I know that there's likely going to be bamboozlement, but we're going to try to weasel, finesse, whatever word you want to use, our way into the short, perhaps maybe waiting for the initial pop and drop. I'm looking, again, I want to keep mentioning this because I think it is a good trade to have. You know, with the overall climate being the way it is right now with Apple, we got more data points from them the last couple of days vis-a-vis that Chinese analyst that the Vision Pro shipments were being dropped off. That same analyst about a month ago told us that iPhone shipments were being reduced because of this analyst covers the suppliers, like the Foxcons and whatever that they have there in China, and he gets their data from them, so it seems to be a bit of a leading indicator. Anyway, so I feel the overall climate still for Apple is negative. That is until we get something different on the AI front. So 170, I will be looking to short if we make it up there, 169.28 HOD. It's moving up in the exact same way that literally everything else is moving down. We may see 800 again on Nvidia. We are at 804.72 now, LOD on Nvidia. We're also fighting 17.6 on the NQ June contract. I saw Dan the Man Emmons tell me he's out of everything a second ago. 17.6.
Right. So if I'm breaking at 165, my